If you're constantly battling low energy, cravings, weight control, watching your health slip away, listen up. There's a simple daily protocol they don't want you to know about that's helping people ditch their meds and reclaim their health. Up to 88% of Americans potentially suffer from some degree of insulin resistance. The Feel Great Protocol is a simple two-step daily system designed to help your body work with you, not against you. Step 1. Unimate, a powerful yerba mate extract clinically shown to boost mood, increase mental clarity, and support fat burning. Step 2. A patented fiber matrix called Balance. Taken before meals, it helps regulate blood sugar, curb cravings, and support healthy insulin response. That's it. No crazy diets, no meds, just science-backed support your body actually understands. Feel Great is perfect for you if you have low energy, weight control, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, poor sleep, diabetes, snacking, sugar cravings, gut health, systemic inflammation. This isn't a trend, it's a transformation. Start today to reclaim your health with the Feel Great Protocol.
Hold the line! Stay with me! Brothers! What we doing live?
You've also mentioned before they could possibly replace federal income tax.
Possible.
Do you think that's
Someday it's possible. It used to be. So if you go back to 1913 is when they ended tariffs. We were the richest ever from 1850. It was all tariffs. We didn't have income taxes. From 1850 to 1913. In the 1887s, about 1887, they had the Great National Tariff Act. And it was a group of people that got together because our country was so rich, they didn't know what to do with the money. We had so much money, they didn't know what to do. It was a group of very prominent people that were set up to hand out money to everybody because we were the richest we ever were. Proportionately, we were in 1887, around that time, even in 1913. We ended them in 1913. How did that work out? And then we went to the income tax system, and then we had the Depression. And by the way, a lot of people try and say that, oh, tariffs with the Depression. No, they ended in 1913, and then we went to income tax, and then in 1929 you had the Depression. They did try and bring it back in 1931-32, but the Depression had long started, and this poor, beautiful nation was gone. It was gone. We suffered for 25 years. It took 25, 30 years to really recover from the Depression. And we don't ever want to see that happen again.
Oh, we surely don't ever want to see that happen again, that's for sure. And that was President Trump definitely foreshadowing some other things. And I'm just going to add this really quickly before we pull Mac in, and just want to play this just for everybody to realize history. I've posted this a few times over the last few years. I think this one's from 2024. But again, you have Javier Becerra, who is the congressman from California at the time, talking with the number 2 at the IRS. So take a listen here. Bing.
As much as we know that the folks at IRS have a thankless job because they have to go and tell their fellow Americans that they may be audited or they have to do this work understaffed, we have to maintain the confidence in the system because it's a voluntary system of payment of our taxes.
Agreed.
And so you are right. It was a foolish mistake. Erodes the confidence of the American people in a system where they participate voluntarily. Participate voluntarily.
Participate voluntarily.
Participate voluntarily.
As much as we know that the folks at IRS...
How clear is that, guys? I think it's pretty clear. But anyways, we do bring you today, and I forgot to say the date as usual, and I think it's Monday. It is Monday, May 11th, 2026, and we bring to you episode 208 of Hold the Line. And I have Mr. Mac with me, and Miss Lisa is on a little bit of a hiatus, and by all accounts, I believe she will return in a little bit. We'll see how that works out, but no negativity, no, I saw people in the comments like, oh, what's going on? very good time in her life. Let's just leave it at that for now. But Mr. Maxer, how's it going, brother? I've been so busy these last couple of days trying to keep up with the stuff, and then today setting up the show prep, I was just like, wow, things are moving along, dude. I'm loving what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's been a great week. We got the big UFO Part 1 disclosure. Love that video. That video is, those both of them actually, had talked about the horrible year 1913 and how they basically robbed our nation. So, but a lot of things to cover. I'm looking forward to it. Lisa says hello. I think she's doing pretty well, it sounds like. And thanks to everyone that tunes in. Thanks, Space Shot, for having me as always, and thanks to the mods. And let's get this party started.
Yeah, let's get this shindig off the road. And I think somebody, before we even started, had dropped something in the chat.
A little bit of info there at the bottom of the chat.
You did, did you?
Yeah, one of them was a video. It's pretty good, I think.
All right. Now hold on. Is that the one? All right. So hold on. This I want to make sure because this is weird. I don't know if this was from like the last stream or what it was, but it has to be this stream. Fat Kitchen, PHAT Kitchen, dropped a $5 Rumble rant. Says, in case I don't get to watch live, you're a real patriot, Space Shot. Thanks for all you do. I do appreciate that greatly. And Mac, now just really quickly before I go, because there was one video you did put at the bottom that I said I had in the shuffle. Is that the same one, or are we talking about a different one? We got
this is in addition to go along with the federal tax.
All right, let's take a peek-see here. And let's see. Space. There we go. Okay, at the very bottom here. Or
it's the one right above. Yeah.
All right, let's take a listen. We'll go into I'm going into this blind. I don't know, but here we go. Mac always brings us good stuff. Dude, and I played that video again last week about the Kurt Cobain stuff. Yesterday, dude. That was just, oh my God, all the connections on that was crazy.
It's coming back. Yeah. All the truth will set us all free. So I think they're all connected, and we're going to find out. Hollywood's a dark place.
Oh, yes. Let's take a listen here.
Was teaching that there was no federal income tax the first 137 years America was a country. Because there was no legal federal income tax between 1776 until 1913 when they amended or changed the U.S. Constitution. They imposed an income tax for 12 years during the Civil War and in 1894 and 1895, but that was found unconstitutional. It was in the Supreme Court case Pollock v. Farmers Loan and Trust Company, and they struck down the federal income tax. And it remained unconstitutional for another 17 years until 1913 when they passed the 16th Amendment and changed the Constitution. And it has been a little over 120 years since they did that, which means there was no legal federal income tax for the majority of American history. People think that all of these taxes, all of this government intrusion into our lives is the norm, but it is not the norm. This is the norm. This is 1776, and the reason America was the manufacturing center of the world in 1912. America had the largest and most prosperous middle class in the history of the world. American steel, American oil, American automotive. But in 1913, they changed the Constitution, which was the same year that they created a national bank. So right at the same time as they gave the government the ability to reach into our pockets and take our money, they also gave a small group of powerful bankers a monopoly over the printing of the dollar. And they print money out of thin air. They lend the money that they printed to the government, and the government agrees to pay them back with interest using the money that they take from us. And that is why the dollar has been so devalued. That is why you can't afford a house. And it's why college is so expensive. Because for 137 years, America was about prosperity. And since then, it's been about whatever this is. And this is why I wrote a book on the banking system. And in my courses, we learn real history. Because if our kids are going to have a fighting chance, they have to know the truth. Check out my private homeschool community. And Cubs to Bears.
Interesting. A little free advertising. Let's see. What has he got for this book, though? Because that is interesting, dude. And everything he said was spot on, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Illegal the whole way through. And it's been to Supreme Court a couple times there. The bear from Jekyll Island. So who's this guy? Let's see, Brett Pike, it looks like. So at least give him some credit for the video. And yeah, dude, it is just another example of how they destroyed our country, right? Because we know the fiat currency that's backed by nothing essentially has no value to it other than the confidence that we put into it, right?
Yeah. And who pretty much owns the Federal Reserve? It's the Rothschilds. So that is the world banking system. They run the majority of it.
Oh, yes.
And that's who we're fighting against. And I really believe this is unconstitutional. I think a majority of our audience would agree with this, what they did in 1913. So how can we ratify that? How can we get away from that? Are they just, I think Trump's been very good at resolving these issues. So I think this is one of the things that's on the agenda here.
Especially with what Benton said last week or a few weeks ago. That was weird, right?
Who said?
Remember Besant was telling everybody like, oh, all you need to do if you want more money in your taxes is just, change your withholding so you'll get more now. And it's like, wait, well, most people will look at that and say, well, if I do that now, then I'll have to pay more back later, right?
I think it's he's hinting at a loophole probably they put in the system. Because like I said, when I did my taxes, I got money back from the federal government I usually owe. And it's, it's not a couple $100s. So nice. I got, less than 1,000 back this year, which was nice.
That's good. Well, better than having to pay in, right?
Yeah, you still got to pay state tax. My state sucks, but whatever. I think it's because the elections are rigged. I think a lot of what we've been seeing over our lifetimes, I think people, older than even me, is this uniparty control and how they've just manipulated it to follow this system. And it's a taxation system, and that was why we created the United States. This gentleman's exactly correct. And then 1913 is like we got invaded and we got a new government or something. Woodrow Wilson did this, by the way. I just want to point that guy out.
Make sure he gets the credit for it. Yeah,
yeah, part of it. It's did they have a private meeting on this? I think at Rhode Island or something like that. It was
Jekyll
really
Island.
sketchy.
That's what he was. That's what he was doing. The beer at Jekyll Island, because I think somebody made a somewhat famous book, years ago about it. But what the hell do they call it? The something of Jekyll Island. I forget what it was, but I think it was a little play on that. But yeah, it was Jekyll Island, like South Carolina or something like that, where all these rich people just kind of met all together surreptitiously. And it's like, oh, we're not up to anything here untoward, but we see the results of it, right? Like the guy said, we were zooming along as a country, and Trump was saying, we had so much money, we didn't even know what to do with it. We had people handing out money essentially. And then fast forward, in the grand scheme of things, not a very long time in the history, right? And then all of a sudden, 1920s, we're crashing our government. So like, what's the input for that scientific experiment, right? Oh, the taxes. Oh, the fiat currency. Okay. Yeah. So clearly that's not a good system. And as you mentioned, the Rothschilds.
Yeah. And there's some interesting points in this bottom document, if you want to scroll through that real quick.
Sure.
But the system, that they used based on the Federal Reserve Act is called the Aldrich Plan, and it's promoted by Senator Nelson Aldrich of Rhode Island. He gave a monopoly on the creation of dollars to a consortium of large banks. So, it just, whatever you want to read on here, it's just, I think there's some valid points and extra points in here that kind of get glossed over. That the amendment to the 17th Amendment was ratified. Took the power of states and transferring them to Washington by mandating the popular election of senators.
Dude, it's bad. I told you my state of Rhode Island is bad, bro. Right? Like, and it starts at the beginning. So I'll read these because these are very 1913, the horrible year for all problems America had prior to 1913, including the unnecessary and horrifying Civil War, which again, that, and then the World Wars again they were all pushed, right? Nothing spelled the death of the nation like the horrors of 1913. February 3rd, the 16th Amendment to the United States Constitution was ratified, authorizing the federal government to impose income taxes on individuals. An amendment to a tariff act in 1894 had attempted to do this, but since it was clearly unconstitutional, the Supreme Court struck it down. As a result, then mostly under the banner of bleeding the rich, the 16th Amendment was promoted and passed. As a result, the Revenue Act of 1913 was signed into law by President Woodrow Wilson in October. Income taxes began in 1914 with the government swearing, as in, quote, only a crazy person would say otherwise, that the rate would never, ever go higher than 1 or 2%. How's that lining up with your guys and gals' wallets out there in this current climate?
They lied back then.
Yeah, they always lied, right? And by the way, the amendment was introduced by Senator Aldrich of Rhode Island, to whom we'll come again shortly. 17th Amendment on April 8th to the United States Constitution was ratified, taking the powers of the states and transferring them to Washington by mandating the popular elections of senators. Previously, senators were appointed by state legislatures, restraining the power of the national government. This change gave political parties immediate and massive power, nearly all of which was consolidated in the city of Washington. The amendment was ratified in the name of restraining the rich and making government into a force for good. It was true that state governments were often corrupt, but the implied idea that Washington was pristine was and remains a bad joke. An infrastructure featuring small, separate pockets of corruption is far less dangerous than one featuring a single large seat of corruption, to which oceans of money are gathered. As Thomas Jefferson wrote, it is not by the consolidation or concentration of powers, but by their distribution that good government is effected. Oh boy. December 23rd of the same year, Woodrow Wilson signs the Federal Reserve Act, which had passed Congress just the previous days. This system, called the Aldrich Plan, and promoted by Senator Nelson Aldrich of Rhode Island, you keep having to dig that in, don't they, gave a monopoly on the creation of dollars to a consortium of large banks. The act was passed, by the way, in the name of financial stability. Talk about a bad joke. And Senator Aldrich, Wikipedia says this about him: he dominated all tariff and monetary policies in the first decade of the 20th century. Aldrich helped to create an extensive system of tariffs that protected American factories and farms from foreign competition while driving the price of consumer goods artificially high. Aldrich became wealthy with insider investments in streets, railroads, sugar, rubber, and banking. His daughter, Abby, married John D. Rockefeller Jr., the only son of John D. Rockefeller. We'll leave you to connect the dots. Aldrich, his family, the Rockefeller banking empire, Chase Manhattan, and others, high political offices such as governor and Vice President Nelson Aldrich Rockefeller, and so on. So, dude, this is bananas. And, this is eerily familiar, right? Like, I'm sure most of you, as I'm reading this, were thinking like Nancy Pelosi, right? Aldrich became wealthy with insider trading and but the interesting that he dominated the tariff and monetary policies in the first decade of the 20th century, and he helped create an extensive system of tariffs that, again, this is what I believe President Trump is trying to do here, right? Aldrich back then created the system of tariffs that protected American factories and farms from foreign competition. I mean, so Mac, what was new back then seems to be what's going on here, right? We got Pelosi here, and then we got President Trump in Aldrich's place, and he's not going to be a turncoat.
It looked like he somehow the Rockefellers got involved, and he changed his tune, maybe.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, we'll marry our daughter off to you, but yeah, I mean, it's clearly documented, right, and what these people did, and they need to find all the money that these people have and wherever they hide it. I mean, can you imagine the masses? And I always talk about this in the past, like the CIA black budget and off-book stuff. But then if you add in some of these richest people that nobody's ever heard of? Because I'll be willing to bet that the richest person in the world is probably somebody is on nobody's radar, right? Like, it's probably not even named. And people don't even know, like, oh, this is the richest man in the world's name. You'd be like, who the hell is that? Right? That would be my guess. And that even that these, Rockefellers and all of them, but just put it that way, all of these big names that we see as like, the bad guys now, I feel like maybe they're the not low hanging fruit, but like maybe sacrificial lambs for the real high ups that are not to be named. I don't know. And did they change their name from Bauer back in the 1700s? The not the Rockefellers. Why am I blanking here with the wow. The name that you kept saying.
Rothschilds.
Thank you, Rothschild. I just gotta remember R&R, like the railroad, R&R, Rockefeller, Rothschilds. But yeah, I saw a post. I didn't really dig into it, but have you ever heard anything about that they changed their name from like Bauer a long time ago?
The name portion of all this is fairly years new, so I've been kind of learning that along the way. I just know that they're all intercommingled. If you start looking into it, yeah. I mean, I've talked about the Bush family back to Prescott Bush and the Nazis, and the Brown brothers and Harriman. Then they're still practicing today, but they, you start digging into that, you run into skull and bones, and all kinds of crazy stuff. I ran into a YouTube channel that kind of goes all the way back to like the Rothschilds and certain events that occurred, like where their finances came back. It's called the Severed Timeline, and with all this digging and trying to figure out where it all starts or where it came from, got me back to even Antarctica and how Antarctica, the country, was formed. Like, the Treaty of Antarctica, and the Rothschilds have an island on Antarctica. So, you look into like the business way that these guys kind of used. I think it's law and being able to stake claims, and then there's hidden knowledge that they ended up finding in a lot of these lands that they've found over the years. So there is some mystery to it, and I keep running into these different things, like the high technology coming out of the Nazi Party, which just was disclosed. I'm sure it's on the agenda tonight. And then Antarctica, like the mystery behind that. And Admiral Byrd, I have one of his first interviews when he comes back from his Antarctica trip, and he says there's much more undiscovered land behind this, past the South Pole. Yes. And it's so interesting. It's it's a lot crazier than real fiction, because they always say, what's the difference between fiction and nonfiction? Fiction has to make sense, reality doesn't. And it's just wild. I'm following it.
I'm here for it for sure. And I'm literally looking up a couple things as you're talking about it, and I'm seeing whistleblower claims advanced. This is from 2023. Claims advanced technology in Antarctica can cause earthquakes. Nazi base, New Swabia, and the secret technology below the 80th parallel. Things along those lines that I thought were interesting. And what was the other one? Did you
have anything on that?
Nazi tech. I do have one from the other day. I think it's like 2 or 3 days old. Let me see.
Here, I got a article and maybe a little video you can put. It's short, but it shows apparently old Nazi technology of the bell.
Oh, interesting. The bell. Let me see. Let me pop this one up here. Ding. This thing here. Oh, yeah. I remember seeing this years ago, too, and I couldn't make... Yeah, I'm just going to keep this... Well, we'll see what the sound looks like. We'll see what the sound looks like. Here we go. All right, maybe copy the right list. So I wonder if that was like some sort of a magnetic field in there that they were trying to roll it around in. It looks like.
I think it added on some chains or something to keep it stable inside that circle barrier. But I don't know if this is CGI or, you never know these days. But I do remember a long time ago seeing real old footage of the bell and what this particular structure is actually in Germany.
Yeah, me too. I've actually seen that one. If it wasn't that video, it was many years ago before we had AI. Yeah. So I'm not sure that was actually it, but it was one very similar to it. It may have been it. Sorry.
Yeah. So, you're going to read about it. Here we go. Let's go.
Nazis had flying saucers, he says, but the energy system prevented conventional ordnance from being used, making them useless in World War II as warfighter platforms. Operation Paperclip transferred technological intelligence to the Allies. Now we have the tech secretly. And again, a lot of people don't understand that. Everybody looks like, all right, what was Operation Paperclip? Well, after the war, we took the people. No, it wasn't after the war. We were taking them before the war. I can read any of this there. 1943, graduated from German Air Academy, was assigned to a member of the Luftwaffe, the Russian fleet. Near the end, according to him, above aircraft was designed and engineered first by something unknown, name unknown, German engineer whose present whereabouts is unknown to him. Okay, he assured us that he was taken into custody by Allied forces upon the termination of hostilities. Somebody stated somebody unsuccessfully attempted to avoid the German draft, but was apprehended by the Gestapo. Interesting. 1967, I think this one is here. But yeah, I mean, there's
also the train of thought that they did get the technology, and this is where Operation High Jump comes into play. That was the, I guess, reconnaissance mission, they called it maybe, but it had over 4,000 people. It had destroyers, it had planes, helicopters, and they were supposed to do it for like 9 months. I think they turned around extremely short, maybe like 3 months. I could be getting that completely off a little bit, but it was a drastically shorter trip. And there's rumors in there that they encountered U-boats and flying vehicles. And the confirmation of that is when Admiral Byrd came back on his journey back to the United States and Chile. He gave an interview and he says, I have the quote here, if I can find it. Basically, we got, let me pull this up.
No problem. I'll say hello to some folks there for a second, and welcome on in, guys. And if you were enjoying the show, please do us a favor and get us on the leaderboard. I was able to get on to, which was funny yesterday. Matrix sent me a thing. He goes, "Oh, dude, you got on the leaderboard. So you guys got me on number 17 on the leaderboard. Funny enough." And then I went and checked the leaderboard a couple hours later, and actually, that was, let me see. So that was 6 o'clock, 6:40, and we ended our show at maybe 4:30. I was 17 on the leaderboard, and then I went and looked later, and then at like 11 o'clock, I'm off the leaderboard, and Matrix is on the leaderboard at 12. So I'm like, dude, I don't even care. I'm glad one of us is, but we were both on there. So clicking that thumbs up gets us on the leaderboard, which in turn gets us more like-minded people like ourselves, us tinfoil hat people that have been right about 95% of the time for the last 10 years. Gives you more of those type of people to talk to. So click the thumbs up, please. Mr. Mac, did you end up finding that, sir? Or if you're totally good to keep looking now?
Yeah. I thought I had a little bit more of the quote, but it says could be attacked by flying objects which could fly from pole to pole at incredible speeds. Now, I didn't get that on one of mine. It says, well, he did not wish to scare anyone. It was a cruel reality that in the event of a new war, the U.S. could be attacked by an aircraft flying over one or both poles. Byrd emphasized that the fantastic speed with which the world is shrinking was a key lesson from his Antarctic exploration. So he talked a little bit in code. I think the interview from Chile had said from pole to pole. He's one of the first and only people, I think, to be to both poles, North and South Pole. And I have that other interview if you want to play it. I don't know how long it is, where he actually...
I got an interesting one for you too, dude. And this is actually getting a little bit more too recent, and I'm not going to play the video. This is just as a supplemental kind of for what you're bringing here, because we were told this stuff back then. And again, kind of showing you guys how history repeats itself. So remember, Space Force, Stephen L. Quast, U.S. Air Force General, quote, "We have tech today that can take you from anywhere on Earth to anywhere else in an hour." And I believe that tech is even faster than that, dude. Anywhere in the world in an hour, I bet you they could do it almost instantaneously.
There's even a better clip, I thought he said, where they can manipulate space and time.
Oh, yeah, he might say it in this one. This is almost,
it probably
is. 2 minutes. Want me to play this? Because this is a very interesting one. So if you want to, set that one up, I'll play yours right after this one here. But again, guys, this is a technology that we're dealing with a year ago.
This is probably the second time that I've heard it publicly done. The first guy was he Lockheed, retired Lockheed and Skunk Works? And he said that we had the capabilities of taking ET home now. ET home.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I might be able to find that one.
Let's listen to this. And manipulation of space and time, a lot of different things you can do with that. It's not just time travel. So go ahead.
Interesting.
Energy, the seed corn of all development, all growth, all survival, energy. So energy, transportation, information, and manufacturing, these are the things that change humanity, that will change world power, and they are descending upon us in ways that are very unique. The technology is on the engineering benches today, but most Americans and most in Congress have not had time to really look deeply at what's going on here. But I've had the benefit of 33 years of studying and becoming friends with these engineers and these scientists. This technology can be built today with technology that is not developmental to deliver any human being from any place on planet Earth to any other place in less than an hour. To deliver Wi-Fi from space, where you never need a cell tower to connect. To deliver energy from space, where you never have to plug your phone in and it trickle charges, and you can use that energy over time. It can be applied to cars, to houses. The technology of Edison and Tesla that we live with in our energy environment, our paradigm today, is expensive, it's dangerous, and it's wasteful. Plug it into the wall, but yet that's what we all do because we are used to paradigms. The power of space will change world power forever. And it doesn't have to be a big country to do it. It can be a small island country, let's say New Zealand. Because the technology, if optimized, can change world power, and there's nothing you can do if you don't have that power. The nature of power. You either have it and your values rule, or you do not have it and you must submit. We see that play out again and again in history, and it's playing out now. But we get trapped.
Oh, dude, did you hear that? Hold on, listen to this again here.
Power, and there's nothing you can do if optimized, can change world power, and there's nothing you can do if you don't have that power. The nature of power. You either have it and your values rule, or you do not have it and you must submit. We see that.
Dude, I feel like for some way, shape, reason, form, I don't know what, but I feel like we have some sort of superior tech to the rest of the world that maybe he's shown to them or something along those lines, but I feel like we have the upper hand as far as tech goes right now. I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not the biggest technological guy out there, but that's what I believe, Mac. And I believe that these other countries are submitting because they're seeing it. And, oh, well, why isn't, Iran submitting so easily? Because in my opinion, that's the last bastion of the deep state holdouts.
Yeah. And there's something we can bring up here in a little bit that's very interesting about some comms that I picked up. Manipulating space and time is something that quantum mechanics does. And when they found that soldier with quantum communication, that just confirmed. I know that we have very, very high tech, and that's just from connecting dots. I can only go so far, and I don't want to get, Epsteined or disappear, or
That's a real thing too lately.
Yeah, poke where I shouldn't. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't pursue a lot of this, because Tesla's always been a huge interest to me, and magnetics and how all that works. And when I forced to learn, that wasn't my free will, I had to do it. It was eye-opening. It blew my mind because I couldn't believe. So first of all, it's possible. Second, how the hell they got the mathematics to figure this out, and then it was really incredible, like super intelligent stuff. Your just mind is blown by it, and you have to really be able to conceptualize it. And that's what I've been doing a lot with after learning this. And when you learn it, you realize that the UFO stuff is pointing directly towards this type of interlocking science that it hasn't been fully disclosed, but you can piece some things together in quantum mechanics to realize that the first things you learn is teleportation, and then you run into the Philadelphia experiment, and the people that were on that was Oppenheimer and Einstein and I think Newton. So it's very interesting. They say it's conspiracy, but I almost remember it being a real thing, and then they covered it up. But
think so.
All this stuff goes back to Roswell. Been really good online on YouTube interviews. I think Jesse Michaels just interviewed a guy, and he talks about Mars. We used to have like really good photos of the moon and all this stuff, and they've ended up hiding it all or getting rid of it when things went digital, I believe. And even the stuff that to fly to the moon, I think they destroyed a lot of it. So there's this big cover up, and that to me, that cover up points to an uncovering of something that this gentleman's talking about right now in that video, was this technology that can rule nations. And I think we definitely have uncovered it. We've come to a point now where I think we're changing our way of humanity, and in doing that, we're going to adopt something like free energy or something much more efficient than what we're used to. And the evidence is there for cold fusion reactors. And I think Trump's media company, I forget the name of it, but they just bought into a cold fusion company. And so we're going to see a evolution of stuff. Remember Trump talked about flying cars? I'm sure they're coming. Elon says his flying car is not the typical drone flying car. So his company is named Tesla. I'm hoping that he's saving the best for last year. And I'll leave it there for right now. But we're well on our way to disclosure. I told Lisa earlier, I think late last year, that disclosure was coming. I could see it right on the wall with all these interviews coming out and the congressional hearings and stuff. It was like, I think Trump's going to do it, and he has. And we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn about the people behind the veil, what's been going on. There's going to be a lot of questions, but I think this is all for the good of humanity and peace throughout the world. And I'll leave it there. Sorry.
Oop. No, you're totally fine, dude. And 5836. Okay, so this is what I'm going to try to do right here, really quick. And the reason why I personally believe the stuff with the Philadelphia experiment is because I've seen the interviews, which I'm going to pop up just one for a quick second here so people see what we're talking about here. This is a guy named Al Bielek, right? And so underground interview or whatever, that has really a lot of background noise and whatnot, but they're talking about basically they were trying to do this stuff where they were playing with energy. And the best I remember at Mac, and I've not revisited this stuff in probably 10 years at least, best I remember it, they were trying to do something with high energy. And essentially what happened is they ported the ship or whatever from like one time to another time. And not only did that happen, and that part I'm not even 100% clear on, but like I think, for example, say there was like a pillar or something for structurally, they'd say like a guy would be standing here, and then when they popped back over to the other area, like one dude would be like stuck inside of the thing, dead or whatever. So he basically talked about this for at length. I mean, this is one interview. It goes on for what, 2 hours right here. So he did many, many interviews, this guy. And it's like, why would a guy at this age want to start faking a bunch of stuff? You know, I could see like a younger kid maybe wants to get popular or something like that. But I just don't see somebody, you know, at the ripe age of this gentleman here starting to make stuff up at the end of their life.
It's classic cover up that they've been doing since like Roswell. That's where conspiracy theory came from. So these older people that come out, they're trying to let everybody know. And it's obviously going to be smushed. And this is the elites. They have this technology. I don't know if it means that who's running the government? Who's the shadow government? Who are these people? Do they have access to this stuff? Are they using it? Are the rich and powerful also, using it? And then, when you manipulate space and time, there's always that time travel aspect. And that is something that I think Einstein didn't explain well, and he didn't explain gravity. So those two things have been questions, and I think they've been suppressed, and they've probably figured some stuff out.
I'm pretty sure they did. Well, this is actually a perfect timing that you're mentioning, some of these people in the deep state and who they are and do they exist. And, well, guys, we can listen to it from the horse's mouth himself, and then did I touch on that one? You know what? Just so we can wrap this one up here, just really quickly. Brett Shoemate here is saying essentially that today at 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time, we're appealing because the president has authority to impose tariffs under Section 122 of the Trade Act of 1974. So again, I think this is just another case, Mac, that they know what the rightful thing to do is here, and they know he has the power to do so. So I think at the end of the day, it will come back in our favor. But I just want to kind of round out that part of it that we were talking about, money and tariffs. And then we went into UFOs, but I just want to make sure that was done. But
is that why President Trump keeps bringing it up in his truce recently, that they're going to find another way to contest that whole situation?
That's it. And this guy's saying that they're going to be doing it here. So he's AAG, Assistant Attorney General for the DOJ Civil under Todd Blanche and POTUS. So that's awesome. And, dude, I don't know if we played it on this show, but how great was that video of Todd Blanche basically putting it right back in their faces the other day? Oh, you people seem to be going after political rivals. President Trump, he shouldn't be able to point people in the direction of where these investigations go. And he's like, oh, wait, do I have my Constitution here? Oh, Article 2 here. Dude, he put it right back in their faces. And then he's like, do you guys forget what happened for like the last 8 years or so?
No nonsense, man. He's on the attack. You look at the two roles. We kind of were prepared with that with Q. The acting, attorney generals, they do play certain roles. And this one, it appears that, Bondi left. She's supposed to come back as a witness, I think. It was announced, at least a witness. And I'd have to look up what it was, but Todd Blanche coming in, and he is now firing out, indictments, arrests, putting everybody where they need to be. It's great.
At record pace too, dude.
Yeah.
Here's a weird. I'd never thought of this until literally you just said, Pam Bondi has to testify, and it just popped into my head. So I'll just put it out for you to, consider, and the folks to consider in the chat. What if during all this stuff being released, right? We know that everybody's like, oh, she's buddy with the Bushes, and she's got all these connections to the Bushes and this, that, and the other. And I'm not saying just the Bushes, but anybody. What if, as all this stuff was coming out, she was approached by A, B, C, D, E, whoever. Oh, hey, can you make this go away? Imagine she was pulled in to testify to the people that were telling her to quiet it down. I don't know that that's the case, but I mean, how awesome would that be if that was the case? That would be juicy.
They're all going to have to answer to something. They're
true.
Brennan and Comey right now are, what are they going to be doing? Are they going to be giving up some information, or are they going to be taking the bullet, or is it to the point where they have them all and it doesn't matter?
Let's see. I'm gonna go with D.
C.
Outing themselves on live television. Ready? Here we go. You're gonna love this one. I mean, this lady. Ugh. Here we go.
Trump says these people are dirty. Todd Blanche says we're lucky to have Trump involved in this. Kash Patel says I have a bat phone into the Oval Office. He has succeeded largely in turning DOJ and the FBI into political arms of his political operation. What still exists in the system to slow that down?
I think, as Liz mentioned, there's still a legion of professionals in the law enforcement environment, Department of Justice, as well as the CIA and other places, the ones who are refusing to follow politically motivated prosecutions, those who are refusing to support any type of political activities on the part of the Trump administration that are inconsistent with the authorities, the responsibilities of the intelligence community, law enforcement community, and Department of Justice. So we have to rely on these individuals to stand up to their professional responsibilities, and also to the courts, to the judges, to those judges who in fact took an oath of allegiance to the law, not to a political party, not to a person. And, I'd like to think that there are still some members of Congress. Certainly, I'm looking for the Republicans who at one point had spoken out against Donald Trump and had spoken in support of the law, but they seem to have just totally caved. And I think, as has been said, what has happened to our institutions is really going to have longstanding damage to these institutions, to our system of justice.
Mac, before you give any other comment, let me see here.
Justice.
Here we go.
Judges.
Where is it?
I laughed at that part.
Well, I'm wondering too is why is everybody's screen like crystal clear, and then everybody comes on, and then he's all fuzzy here, right? And then when they all come on, it looks like the weirdest panel I've ever seen in my life. Where the hell are they? Here we go.
If you look at the background there, look at the paneling. It's definitely a fake background now.
Super blurry too. But
Look, his chin in the shadow. Look at the chin, or not the chin, but underneath the chin, the neckline or that gap.
Yeah, what the hell's going on there? They always got weird necks.
There is the gobble neck, but if I don't know during the video if he exposes it, but and I think CGI and the stuff they use, it's hard to pick that transition up. So that looks weird.
Yeah, it definitely looks weird. And then again, he's all super blurry and like, all right, it's 2026, dude. Even if you were to take a 5-year-old camera, you probably, her camera's probably the best because it's studio quality. And I would say hers. And then this one's a little less. And then his is absolutely horrible.
Well, his shirt looks focused in, but his face doesn't. So that's a really good point. Maybe he's an orange jumpsuit underneath the CGI.
Well, dude, here's the interesting thing, right? So talking about, we can't get rid of some people. And remember, President Trump had a little issue of not being able to fire some of these folks here. And dude, you want to talk about an absolute lesson in 5D chess right here, dude? This is bananas. I'm just surprised I'm only hearing about this now. It came out a couple days ago. Sean Spicer for the win, guys, ladies and gentlemen. Watch this. You're going to love this.
Now President Trump's firing everyone because Biden set this precedent that we could fire him, and we got them to codify it in law. September 20th of Biden's first few months in office, I get an email. It was, "Dear Mr. Spicer, I had President Biden's personnel office. Thank you for your service. By 5 o'clock today, either submit your resignation or we'll fire you." America First Legal says, "We want to sue the Biden administration. We need plaintiffs. Will you be a plaintiff?" They were like, "We want to lose. We want the Biden administration to go to court and argue that they have the right to fire anyone." So we lost. And then we appealed that, and we lost at the appeals section. Okay. So Trump wins, and I start emailing everyone, "Remember, Spicer v. Biden, Spicer v. Biden." I get a call from the Washington Post. Reporter calls me and says, "I was wondering if you would like to comment on the Kennedy Center board getting fired." And I'm like, "I get that I was on Dancing with the Stars, but I'm really not like a ballet guy." And he goes, "Whoa, you don't get this. We're not calling you because you're like a good dancer or you have any musical taste. It's like, we're calling you because they issued a statement. And the statement says, based on the precedent of Spicer v. Biden, we have no recourse." Brilliant.
Dude, freaking boom. Those are those executives, right? Remember, it was very difficult to get rid of people in the senior executive service.
Yeah.
Dude, how friggin' juicy is that, dude? I mean, these are some of the things that we're just not seeing until we see them, right? Like, so nothing's going on. This was going on in the first term of Joe Biden, or whatever that was that we dealt with again.
The pause.
The second, but I don't want credit for that second one. Again, I don't know if he just handed off power to the military or what he did for those 4 years, but certainly was not a guy named Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. running the country. That one I can guarantee you, no matter what the case was. Even if there was, Trump was out of the picture and nobody in Trump's administration, it still wasn't Biden running anything. I mean, dude, salute the Marines. Like, dude, that was my all-time favorite on Inauguration Day. He's walking into the doors, and he walks by the two Marines, and he says, salute the Marines. It's like, Jesus, don't you know Burgundy will say anything you tell him in the teleprompter? Oh, man, that was so good. Oh, but again,
he had
more
so
crazy
many
things.
funny early moments. Remember him driving the Secret Service? They thought he was driving the car, but the other side had a steering wheel for him. What else? The actual Secret Service vehicle looked like a rent-a-car, and then he's going into like Air Force One. That wasn't Air Force One. It was like some rentable. And yeah, there's just so many examples. I mean, it's really a comedy skit at some point, or a movie possibly. But
movie possibly, yeah. I got one for you. Remember on Inauguration Day, Biden was locked out of the White House, and the example or the excuse they gave us is that they had fired Trump brought his door guy from New York and Trump Tower, and basically they fired him and they forgot to put a new guy in there to open the door. It's like, so the other guy locked it and said, screw you guys later. That's awesome. Let's see, what else was there? Salute the Marines. There was that, the cannons. I mean, again, it was like a gut punch that day, but in short order, I started just, okay, this is what we're doing, because the stories just kept like almost like magic being delivered on a friggin' platter. So yeah, let's see, what do we got next here? Speaking of deep state dirtballs, I want everybody's opinion quick in the chat. Pence, did you guys like Pence or did you not like Pence? And maybe my foreshadowing of this question may give you an indication of where the story is going, but a lot of people out there were, not liking Pence and thinking he was a turncoat, and then certain people were saying, no, he's playing along to, whatever. I personally went towards the turncoat side. I don't know how you felt on that one, Mac. I mean, you can hold your...
He's a traitor.
There we go.
He solidified it when he didn't send the electorals back to the states to recount.
All right, let's see who this is. This is independent journalist and whatever. It says, let's see. Disgraced former Vice President Mike Pence, disgraced, they have to add that, disgraced, and his top aides Olivia Troy and Mark Short are in serious legal trouble after being criminally implicated in classified documents espionage case involving John Bolton. Pence is accused of being the main White House leaker during Trump's first term, using his staff to leak top secret info, which he thought would hurt Trump's administration to the mainstream media, which now has them all facing possible espionage violations. The fly was right all along. There were rats and moles deep inside of Trump's inner circle the whole time. There's more proof the swamp never stopped trying to destroy Trump from within. And Hulk, I almost called you Hulk there. Mac, something that was it Cash he had said last week? I'm pretty sure it was Cash that said basically they were doing this back then and it's still going on to this very day. I'm pretty sure that was Cash that said it, but I kind of tell folks about the grand conspiracy case when people start worrying about like statutes of limitations, because every time they keep covering this thing up, it keeps extending the clock as far as I understand it.
It sounds like this is going to tie into the grand conspiracy when you think about it. So there is no statute of limitations. I think they were talking about this with Fauci and how even though his statutes of limitations, I think, run out today, that he's still on the hook. I mean, when you talk about crimes against humanity and stuff, I don't think gain of function he can hide behind.
No.
So, but
I don't think so either.
I think Trump's gradually getting to this leaker stuff. I know that wasn't there someone recently sentenced for leaking? There's been a bunch of arrests and charges for people leaking like secret material to like say China.
Oh,
and
yeah. I got one of those for in a little bit as well.
yeah.
Admitted.
Can't find it.
Let me see. I got it. Right, here we go. Here's one person's admitting to being a Chinese agent. And again, dude, how many more of these? Because remember, you got to remember we're the big evil America, right? So do we have a bunch of people in China that are acting like this person, Eileen Wang, acting as a foreign agent for China in a plea deal? Arcadia mayor, dude. So this is a mayor of a city. Is acting as a foreign agent for a different country. So, like, we're the big bad evil ones. Do we have a bunch of Chinese? Do we have a bunch of, say, Russian? Do we have a bunch of Iranian, Middle Eastern? Take your pick of any country. Do we have a bunch of these sleeper cells in our country working for outside countries, outside interests? That's my concern. I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, there's the DOJ is pushing to denaturalize the most prolific Cuban spy who served as a U.S. ambassador. So I would say, yeah, there's been a bunch of people that have been, denaturalized or arrested. So that's a good sign. I think Cash has been doing a pretty good job from the looks of it and bringing a lot of people to justice and getting out the bad.
Things seem like they're definitely speeding up anyway, from my perspective. So I got a story the other day, Hulkinator dropped, and then I have to, just for the folks that have been watching this story progress. I don't know if you saw this the other day, dude. This is not news for, political news or anything like that. But did you end up seeing this video, dude, of this motorcycle stuck in a red light?
I got the video. The other angle. It's pretty incredible. The guy survived too.
Amazingly, yeah, it's actually underneath here, I think. Yeah, he's laying there, and we kind of watched it a couple times yesterday. At the very, halfway through, you can actually see his head kind of moves up, and I'm like, wow, did he just move? And he actually did. So you actually see his head kind of slightly lift up, like right here, if I'm remembering correctly. Right here, see the head moving up a little bit. Looks like it's very slightly
I saw
moving.
It too. Yeah.
But so we're trying to figure, like, wait, did it just hit the car and the bike flipped up in the air like that? Like, I've never seen a bike flip that high in the air. But guess what? Now we get the video to show you. Here we go. It's going to ask me. Oh, it's not going to ask me.
Guy got...
Dude, he was
on
going...
his knees praying that he survives this.
He should be kissing the ground that he's alive today.
Holy cow.
Dude, he put it this way. He was going so fast.
Physics takes over here.
He was going so fast that the camera froze his bike in place before the accident while continuing to watch the bike. Because I had to watch it a few times. I thought there was like a guy following him on a bike that was stuck in like a wheelie, but you'll see what I mean. It's just weird. Oh, what happened? All right, I paused it. I mean, dude, I thought that was another guy that stopped behind him, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty interesting. He's staying on one wheel and not moving for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds as everything else is moving around. I've just never seen an artifact like that. Isn't that weird how it froze his motorcycle there, but kept everything else moving?
Yeah, I've never seen. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know if that's usually how the video looks, but
just crazy. But maybe somebody, who knows if somebody made this video?
That's an incredible accident right there to be surviving.
And look how far he went. Oh my God, look at that. He literally slid right over the top of the thing and then boom, hit the ground immediately. Let's see. Boom. Yeah, he was on the ground within a foot or two after the car right here. That is nasty. Look at that. Just sliding across. Oof. I said it before. I've had 3 motorcycles in my life at the most inopportune time, when I was like 19 to 23. So I'm lucky nothing bad happened. But yeah, that's what happens when you can't stop. What's that called? That's some physics involved there, I'm sure. Let's see. I don't have a bunch on Iran. I just got a little bit here from Mario. But so this is a few hours ago, I want to say. This is 1 p.m. today, Eastern. Trump is meeting with his national security team right now to decide what happens next in the Iran war. Per Axios, so take it with a grain of salt, U.S. officials confirmed the meeting is happening today after Iran's peace proposal arrived Sunday and was immediately rejected. The ceasefire is described as, quote, on life support. 2 officials say Trump is leaning towards action. Quote, he will tune them up a bit, one said. Another quote, I think we all know where this is going, says another. And then he posted this on top of new footage from Israel's Ben Gurion airport today shows dozens of United States Air Force refueling aircraft on the tarmac. These are the planes that can make deep strikes on Iran possible. Each KC-135 and KC-46 carries up to 207,000 pounds of fuel and can refuel multiple jets. So, this whole thing with the blockade and Operation Freedom, Peace, Freedom, whatever, they're not going to go quietly into that good night because this is a much more difficult task than it seemed North Korea was, right? It seemed like we went over there and met with Kim. Obviously, Trump met with Kim before, privately, before the world knew that he met with him, as was noted in the drops. But that was a fairly simple and quick, dispatching of the deep state out of there. And I really do feel like Iran is the last bastion of their holdouts, right? Because of the uranium that they were trying to make and all the oil and gas and that strait right there. So again, my opinion, Mac, that these people that live in the region need to protect their own region, and they need to make it so, anybody can get through there. It shouldn't be for tolls or whatever, and people should just be nice to each other, right? Like, wouldn't it be a beautiful world if people weren't at war with each other?
Trading route. Just a sovereign trading route.
Yeah.
I think Promethean action's taken my phrase, but it's okay.
I know, I saw that. But it is.
Yeah, Trump mentioned in an interview that there were generals waiting on him to do action. Iran keeps messing around, and they have this planned out, so they know what they're going to do. Yeah, I mean, President Trump also said he has a brilliant plan. It's to sum up his words. I'm not quoting it. I have the interview somewhere, but this has been planned out. Even Q, as we're going to find out hopefully in a few, was pointing to this, and we're going to explain a little bit why. And I think what we've talked about originally was correct. So it's going to be interesting. See where it goes. But what do you got here?
I was going to play the one you dropped of the Promethean action chickies here. I thought this was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I did too. They talking past the veil a little bit, which is exactly what we need to pay attention to, because I think it's a hidden enemy that's been there for a very long time, and they're being exposed, and their systems being exposed.
Exactly. And again, how can these folks that are, they do great research, but like, how can some of these people who do great research see these things, but yet other people that do great research, Candace and Tucker, seemingly can't see the same thing? And this has always been my question for the last many months is, we're taking data sets from, quote, us quote, Q-tards or whatever you want to call it, right? And then you got them, and then you got, Victor Davis Hanson, and then the guy 2CTV. All these people seem to see action from 4 different perspectives, but yet Candace and others cannot see that. So, and maybe, it's manufactured to be that way because they need the voice to be loud, because, again, we don't want the APEC person for every, congressman and woman out there, is how I see it. So let's take a listen to this very interesting little blurb here.
Finance Minister Hjalmar Schacht into power. Schacht was deeply embedded in London and Wall Street circles. He was so close to Montague Norman, the head of the Bank of England, that he made Norman the godfather of one of his grandchildren. Schacht was installed in Germany to oversee the looting of the German economy on behalf of the Anglo-American elites. And then those policies metastasized into Hitler's economics. Those same principles are still in play. Loot the population to sustain a bankrupt financial system, or in the case of Hitler's Germany, a war machine. Those are the same principles that the health insurance cartels use. Suck out exorbitant amounts of money and reduce your life expectancy in the process. So here's the bonus point. If you think this British Nazi connection is ancient history, I've got some news for you. The same people, the same families, and the same looting operation are running the show right now in Ukraine and in Europe. We've already seen assisted suicide spreading across Europe, and the political suppression of free speech is becoming routine. But if you want to see the mask come off completely, look at Ukraine. Meet Chrystia Freeland, granddaughter of Ukrainian Nazi collaborator. She just moved from Canada, where she was Trudeau's deputy prime minister and Mark Carney's special representative to Ukraine, assigned to keep the war going. She's now Zelensky's special economic advisor. And what's her job? Continue the war going, loot Ukrainian assets, pay the banks. Same playbook her grandfather would recognize. And then there's Blaise Metrowell, the new head of MI6. Her grandfather, a Nazi collaborator. Her current job, running British intelligence operations to keep the war going in Ukraine. And there's this. On New Year's Day, Ukrainians marched through the streets celebrating Stefan Bandera, a Nazi butcher responsible for mass murder. So the enemy isn't even hiding anymore. Let me connect the dots, because this is where it all comes together. Why does the Uniparty love both the Ukraine war and the insurance cartels? Because it's the same business model, wealth extraction. In Ukraine, they extract your tax dollars, funnel them to defense contractors, and seize Russian assets to prop up a bankrupt European financial system. In U.S. healthcare, they extract your premiums and funnel them to insurance financiers in Wall Street and London. Different victims, same looting operation.
Same thing that they've been dealing with for years, right, Mac? Great clip that you brought there. And again, they're seeing things that other people are just not seeing. And wait, why is this woman,
And
Chrystia
we've been seeing
Freeland,
it for
over
how
there?
many years?
Yeah,
We've been talking about it.
Yeah, we've
So-
been seeing it for at least 8 years, and then it took like Mike Benz and who the hell was the other guy, Schumacher or whatever the hell his name was, like, oh wait, they used to be Democrats, but now they're giving the same information all these conservatives were for the last 8 years, so now we should listen. It's like not too frustrating, was it?
Was she one of the people mentioned? I looked up I think her father. He was,
Yeah.
he
took a
was
picture of that guy.
pro Nazi.
Oh my goodness. But interesting, right? What is she now? She is the what is she? She's something in over in Ukraine. She's like the advisor, the wealth advisor or some crap like that. But oh wait, a Canadian politician and journalist who serves as the 10th Deputy Prime Minister of Canada from 2019 to 2024. But now she's over in Ukraine helping them out. Like, what? What the hell? Like, dude, it's a big ass swamp, and they're moving these pieces around. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what they always been doing. So, it's I'm glad we're finally being able to point these people out and root them out of our country and out of the world, hopefully.
Dude, she's her quote, her title right now is she's the advisor on economic development in Ukraine. Talking about a country who doesn't even want their dead soldiers back from Russia because it costs too much money that they'll have to pay to the people. Right? That's what kind of games they were playing. Like, they didn't want them back because per their laws, they have to pay X amount of dollars for any soldiers that are brought back, dead or alive, or excuse me, dead.
And then just to tie Operation Paperclip, we were talking about Operation High Jump with Admiral Byrd. Operation Paperclip was the naturalization of Nazi war criminals into the United States, and they're still here. Wernher von Braun, he ran NASA, and he was a rocket genius, but he was also a Nazi war criminal. So it's all seems to be tied together, and it goes way back.
It sure does. And we still have, let me see, who is it? Our buddy Zelensky here. Where is it? I got a clip. It's out of order. But of course, he's complaining about Cuba, of all things, for whatever reason. What the hell's my clip here? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Separate side list here. Ukraine is one of the countries opposing the lifting of U.S. embargo on Cuba. In the latest UN vote, they once again voted against lifting embargo on Cuba. Yet after Chernobyl disaster, Cuba provided free treatment, especially for children coming to Ukraine from Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. The program began in 1990, carried out the Tarara area near Havana. Around 26,000 people, the vast majority of them children, received treatment in Cuba. A significant number of them were Ukrainian children. Isn't that nice? Opposing lifting the embargo. Don't lift the embargo is what they want. That's weird, right?
So they were trafficking kids.
I mean, most likely, but I mean, it's just, dude, the fraud and the scumbaggery, it has no bounds here. This one I thought this is just a side from me. You guys know I'm a big UFC fan, and I don't know if you end up seeing that fight this weekend, dude, with Strickland and Chimaev. I was so tired from moving, I didn't even get to see the post-fight interview with Joe Rogan. I saw that he won, and then I'm like, oh, he won, cool. I woke up at like 8 in the morning the next day. But I thought this was a very nice one, and it's only a short video on YouTube, so I liked what he said here.
Yes, I want to tell you what I love most about press conferences, and this is almost every press conference. When I look in the crowd, I just see people chanting America, America. And it's never my name, which I love. It's always America, America. And I look in the crowd and I see all your faces, white, black, Mexican, it doesn't matter. You guys are all united in chanting America. I didn't earn the mantle of the American fighter. I'm just born here. I probably don't deserve it, but it means so much to me to represent my country in MMA. And more so, it means so much to me that there's people from every different background united in the love of this country. And I'll say it is a highlight of every fight. So let's go to war for you guys tomorrow. You guys, I want to tell you what.
So I just thought that was really nice. And did you happen to see where he made a little let's just say
APAC slip?
I don't know if it was an APAC slur, but it was something. Let's play it. I don't really, at this point,
slip.
Yeah, he didn't let it slip at all. This is so funny. So watch this. This is him after the fight. After the fight, looking at himself in the camera, and then seeing how big his nose looks. And then the best part is Paramount cut it out, so you'll see the original version here, and then the edited version down the bottom.
Yeah, the moment you let go of my back, you're, oh my God, what happened to my face? Like a horror movie. You were in a 5-round fight. It was a good one. Christ, I look like I'm part of APAC. Yeah. Were you surprised in that second? Yeah. The moment you let go of my back, you're, oh my God, what happened to my face? Like a horror movie. Were you surprised in that second round?
So, yeah, they cut that one out. Apparently, Paramount Plus cut out APAC. And you had something. Was that you that dropped something on Dana White in there?
Yeah,
some satanic looking stuff, huh?
Yeah. I posted the actual video, which was the belt looked awesome. And then one of the people in the chat pointed out the pictures in the background. I'm like, man, this is crazy. See
if I can pull this one up here. Let me get it. And because I
don't know what to make of it other than what I see, which is not good.
Oh yeah. Oh, that definitely looks like a sex act for sure. Hold on. Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, not too subtle either. So if anybody can see, it looks like
So I
missionary?
took this as a little bit of a calm. I was like, who owns the UFC? I know that guy. What's his name?
Ari.
He did a dig on it. It's
I hate the stupid music.
The guy with the mustache.
Is it Ari something?
No, Silver Lake owns it.
Oh, Larry Silverstein?
The company's called Silver Lake, and there's Greg Mondre and Egon Durban. So they're the actual true owners of UFC, and it's at the top of the pyramid of their companies. And I don't know, I just dove into it and was kind of interested on who, if he still owned it. I guess he doesn't. He's just the acting CEO. And
yeah,
how Trump does things and bringing everything to the forefront, and then through time it gets exposed. So I don't know what's going to happen, but this was a very strange background to a video.
Yeah, I mean, the butterfly thing. I mean, I don't know what he said in the post about butterflies. Showing off a title belt, Dana had a painting of a sex act behind him and a portrait of a child with blue butterflies, sign associated with sex trafficking survivors. That I wasn't aware of. I mean, I've seen there's
a couple of things. There's that. There's also Project Monarch.
Butterflies, yes.
Which I have a video here. You can hopefully play the beginning of it. It explains it's a long one. And then there's also is it the Roth? No. There might be one other thing, but this is what I was looking for forever. There's been a lot of MK Ultra stuff that's been kind of common in the news.
Oh, definitely. All right, let's take a little listen here. You said about a first minute or so?
Yeah.
Right.
Spawned from MK Ultra was Project Monarch, in which victims, usually young children, are subjected to intense trauma, inflicted to the point at which their minds dissociate from the experience. This causes a form of multiple personality disorder, allowing the programmer or handler to mold these dissociated minds into new controllable personalities. From there, triggers are put in place so that these mind-controlled slaves can be called upon to perform whatever actions they have been programmed to do. There are various stages or types of programming to service different needs, such as increased memory ability, physical strength, or fearlessness. This was used to create the programmable assassins, as was popularized by the Manchurian Candidate.
Very progressive, listen. Mandelbrot set is in motion. Echo Choir has been breached. Is that a lyric from something?
Agent Howell has been activated. Killed 2 operatives with a spoon, sir.
A spoon? What? We're terminating Asset Howell.
Why are there men in hazmat suits?
Thanks to your actions, 2 CIA assets are dead.
Project Monarch is so named for a variety of reasons, mostly related to the specific traits of the monarch butterfly. The traumatization, typically electroshock therapy, causes a feeling of lightheadedness or fluttering like a butterfly. The area around the corpus callosum in the brain, which is where the 2 hemispheres communicate, looks strikingly similar to a butterfly in section view. There is the supposed genetic memory or instinct passed down through bloodlines that bring the monarchs back to the same habitat year after year. Additionally, there is also the reference to the royal bloodline and the idea of complete and total rule by a monarchy. And could there be a significance to the butt in butterfly, since sodomy is a key component to mind control?
Oof, okay. Yeah, that's good. I don't need to see girls twerking.
Yeah, well, it goes on, obviously, for another 20 minutes or so, 22 minutes.
That's very good info.
Yeah, and Trump posted a drone video knocking down butterflies. Did you see that?
Oh, that's weird.
So I just felt like that was odd to put down as a post.
Yeah, definitely.
Here you go. There's the post. First picture. And I also thought it could have been associated with the Rothschild butterfly, which another angle.
Drones dropping like butterflies. Huh. Oh wait, I went back. Okay. Rothschild's bird wing. Term Rothschild butterfly. Rothschild's bird wing, a large butterfly species named in honor of British zoologist and collector Lord Walter Rothschild. A large bird-winged butterfly where females reach a wingspan of up to 15 centimeters, almost 6 inches, and males approximately 13 centimeters, 5 inches. Endemic to Arfak Mountains in western New Guinea. Interesting. That is crazy, dude. Wonder why he did that. Drones dropping like butterflies. Did you ever see the video of President Trump? He's at his golf course, and I think he's like with a little kid or something like that, maybe with his granddaughter, and somebody wants a picture, and then right next to him there's this dude sitting there with what looks like a cannon or something like that. So I did some research on it, and that's actually, it takes out drones. You ever see that thing? It's like a handheld, like, I don't even know, like almost like a rifle or something like that, but it's really big and wide at the outward. So I don't know, what would you call it? A drone killer?
It's probably it's probably EMF pulse some sort.
Sure, they got the real deal good stuff over there with him.
Well, it's probably to knock it down. You got to knock out the electronics, so they use like an EMF, electromagnetic or EMP.
Yeah, this thing was like, it was maybe as wide as this thing is on the outside.
Unless it shoots it down for real, but I would think it would just.
Yeah, I think it was like you were saying. What it does is it scrambles. It doesn't shoot an actual projectile. It shoots like energy waves that, like you said, it'll scramble up all of the electronics in there. And then they say some of them are actually resistant to some of them. But then I've heard that our country actually has a company within it that not only will take out any drone, but will actually just absolutely fry everything in it. So
laser.
Yeah, lasers and blazers and stuff. Okay, let's see what else we got on the menu here today. What else we got on the old menu as we're getting... Were you halfway down the list yet? Nope. This was interesting. This was interesting. I don't really... thought this was interesting. Dan posted a drum roll. So here, Dan Scavino here.
Yeah, Phil Collins is not looking good, by the way. I saw a video of him actually at a drum set, and his health is not doing well.
Not doing good. Let's see what this is.
Yeah, so I thought that was odd timing too. 9:08, 9 + 8, 17.
And that would be 9:08 post because it's in the morning. I don't know if there's anything on there. Let's see. So is he just doing a drum thing the whole time? Yeah. Definitely a big drum roll here. So they say here, Dan posted a drum roll. Clinton Foundation files deadline. So I thought this was interesting. We've had the Clinton Foundation whistleblowers have been on this case for a while with the tax side of things. So Clinton Foundation files deadline is today, 5/11/2026. Grassley sent DOJ and the FBI a request for all documents on 17 major issues, including Haiti and Uranium One. Oh, that's not going away either, huh? Awesome. 1, non-government email. 2, mishandling of classified documents. 3, potential campaign violations. 4, dubious Clinton Foundation financial dealings. Tenneco, private firm founded by Bill Clinton. 6, Bill Clinton speaking fees while Hillary Clinton was Secretary of State. 7, acquisition of Uranium One from AMRZ, a U.S.-based uranium asset, a subsidiary of Rosatom. Rosatom officials were under criminal investigation during this transaction period. That's something that I think a lot of people miss, Mac, the fact that these people were under investigation while the CFIUS board, which I believe Hillary was on, allowed this acquisition to go forward. 8, national security implications of Uranium One acquisition. 9, conflicts of interest between Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, and the transacting parties. 10, chairman of Uranium One made donations to the Clinton Foundation in the millions while Hillary was Secretary of State. 11, James Comey, FBI preliminary investigation on Clinton Foundation to its alleged use by foreign entities to corruptly influence decision or action. 12, Clinton Foundation hid foreign donation of 2 million shares in Polo Resources, donations made by Stephen Daddles, a Canadian mining executive. 13, Clinton ties with Frank Giustra. Remember this name, guys. That's going to be coming back into the fold as the Uranium One stuff comes back in. A Canadian billionaire executive and Colombian president and pay to play. Wait, what? Frank Giustra, a Colombian president? Oh, okay, hold on. With ties to Frank Giustra, a Canadian billionaire executive, and then another person who is a Colombian president and paid to play is my guess, because Frank Giustra was a Canadian dude. He's not the president of Colombia. Okay. 14, pay to play with Boeing. 15, pay to play with Haiti. Rare gold exception permit to Hillary Clinton's brother after billions of U.S. tax dollars went to Haiti following the Haiti earthquake. Wiener device and Clinton Foundation servers. 17, other, quote, schemes. So, dude, I'm loving this. This is going to be so juicy when all this stuff comes out. And I pulled these guys up earlier. CFWBs. These guys are all over this as well. I think they posted this yesterday.
Pull up that decode I sent you.
Okay, I will, absolutely. It says, look what Monday has in store. Clinton Foundation, Uranium One, full post below with this snapshot. So remember, guys, quote, based on the information provided to my office, the outcome of these investigative matters is unclear, as well as the outcome of the investigations into the additional allegations raised by the FBI. As such, I'm requesting the DOJ and FBI provide answers to the following no later. Provide all suspicious activity reports reviewed, produced, associated with the Clinton Foundation, all 302s, which are all the FBI interview summaries and whatnot. So they are FOIAing this stuff, and it's not going away. And they've been at this for a very long time. I don't know, what is their cut? Like, is it 10% or 20%? So whatever they can uncover for fraud and find and that they can recoup, they will get, I think, 10 or 20% of, which is going to be in the multiple millions of dollars. But guess what? They did a lot of hard work to get there as well. Decode just up above this one right here, right? Where was it? Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, because it brings up, just random things that came out in the news. And obviously this one with, you just went over with the Clinton Foundation. Well, it connects to also Trump mentioning Fort Knox today and talking about, what was that, $700 billion? And there was only one Q post that brought up $700 billion.
Oh.
And when you look above that, it has Uranium One. And look at the procedure, look at the progression of it. I don't know how you can focus in on this.
I'm actually working on it right now. With these, what I'm going to do is the easiest for me is to
copy paste.
To basically get it to where I download the image myself here, and then I'll bring it to.
Now, the Haiti part's going to bring up a whole nother section of Q posts as well, and we've talked about that a few times the past year. I think it was like $2.4 billion they ran out of that place. It were 10 billion. I can't remember. It was a lot, and none of it went to the actual citizens.
Too much money.
Yeah.
Too much.
You got Hillary Clinton's brother who ran the mineral mine, the gold mine on Haiti. So there's a lot of corruption.
Dude, I remember seeing videos from them where people, I think it was in New York City, where they were doing like anti-Clinton, rally, essentially saying, we hate the Clintons. We can't do anything in Haiti unless we get the okay from them to do it. And it's like, wow, I didn't know they had that much juice, but apparently they do. So yeah, I can actually go into here a little bit better now if you want to look up any particular part here. Boom, boom, boom. Mac, you muted?
Yeah, sorry.
No,
in the middle one, up top in the middle.
Oh,
yeah, that
okay.
one's fine. It says U1. There you
Canada. Go. Yeah, and so remember we were just talking about Frank Giustra from Canada, right? So Uranium One over to Canada, over to the EU, over to Russia, over to Iran, over to North Korea, over to Syria, over to Pakistan, Iran next. 700 billion military this year. Why is the military so important? And then you went down here. U.S. Same thing. Over to, yep, same deal there.
Just magnifying it. And, you know, at the top of it, I kind of ignored for the time being, but there's something else that came out, and that's that article that is in the chat having to do with nuclear dust.
Ooh.
And we had theorized that in Iran, because of uranium one, that President Trump was probably talking about the nuclear dust and how that there was a signature on the uranium or plutonium or whatever it is. It will have an isotope signature that they can identify where it came from. So
pulling that one up for 1 second.
Yeah.
There we go. Just pulling this in here. Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, dude, and they told us all about this well ahead of time.
Yeah, and so he's been talking about nuclear dust with Iran, but did we know that there was nuclear dust in Venezuela?
Ooh, not anymore. We're going to get to that in a second. Let's take a listen.
Yeah,
here.
so I just took that as a huge clue that there's that part, the Department of Energy stuff in the background. And when you look into the atomic, there's a couple different acts and how they classify nuclear materials. It gives off radiation, it gives off certain types of energy, or that they can detect. So when we're thinking about the trail of uranium one, Hunter Biden, the Bidens, Clintons, Obama, and the access to giving that to a country like Iran or North Korea, they could test and do things under the guise of probably secrecy and control them. And at the same time, use stolen knowledge and secrets from the US government and beyond. And I think that's part of what they were doing and trying to create. They were very interested in aliens and the technology behind that. Even Epstein was involved in anti-gravity stuff. So this is the elites trying to gain that knowledge and see where we're at, and they'll probably try to create it on their own and create a breakaway society. Like, was it Ghislaine wanted to build an underwater city? And where do UFOs come out of the water? We're coming to find out. So are we exposing something along those lines as well, and what's been created?
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt they have some sort of a breakaway society that they've, and it doesn't even have to be a breakaway society. Imagine they had a continent here on Earth that just was never brought up, never mentioned, nobody ever talked about, right? That they have their own little oasis of high tech and they're looking down upon us, and that's where they go for vacation. I don't know. I always think about weird things like that.
Well, that Admiral Byrd interview talks about the land past, and it's wild. I have it in the chat if you want to play it at some point. But it's incredible. What are they keeping from us? And Antarctica is a big mystery. Leave it.
Yeah. The land beyond the poles. And I think I saw maybe the same video you're talking about, because one of those videos implied heavily that essentially, what's that area there? Oh God, the
New Schwabenland?
No, the place where it was supposed to be Ukraine or whatever back in the day there, where we talk about all the weird mud flood stuff.
Tartaria?
Tartaria. So one of the videos was saying essentially Tartaria is where Antarctica is, and that that's where it was, and then they froze the area, or they did something where the poles flipped or something, and that's where it is. But then I've also heard that Tartaria, they know of it on a map that it was absolutely in Europe. So I don't know. I think
it's spread all over the place because the architecture is everywhere. And another thing I found interesting about the Nazis, and I always followed Q on, symbolism will be their downfall. If you look at the swastika, and I did a little digging this week, like on my Free the Wilch Patriots channel, but it's like, I feel like they were following, a trail. They talked about the Aryan Trail, but why'd they use the swastika? And when you look into the swastika, it goes back like 1300 BCE or something, like 1,000 years before Christ. And it's found all over the world, that symbol, from many different cultures. And I wonder if they're kind of using that knowledge too to try to uncover all these secrets that they've been talking about. Remember Indiana Jones? They're trying to find the Ark of the Covenant. That's like based on, you know, what they actually were trying to do. They were traveling the world. They went to like Tibet. They went all over the world trying to find these artifacts and knowledge. And and I don't know how, you know, if they were nice about it, but I followed that knowledge trail, and I wonder if, you know, they found something down in Antarctica, because they ended up getting New Schwabenland and kind of setting up shop down there.
Absolutely. Let's see. Lanny Lou says Admiral Byrd went to Agartha, pop with godly, benevolent beings. Hitler partnered with Archons, Dracos, and the Satanic Dark Fleet, and did have a base in Antarctica. Well, I mean, I can't, you know, verify any of that stuff, but, you know, or, you know, I can't discount it, and I can't, you know, say 100% yes or no. But I do know, Mac, and you know as well, that they have had a lot of visitors to Antarctica, a lot of high rollers, even holy rollers, right, into Antarctica in the last 5 years or so. So I wonder what that's about. Like, why are they all making the trek out to Antarctica? It's kind of weird, right? I have no idea on that. And
I think they're finding out that Antarctica is melting because of the bottom up, like the warm water. I think it might even be volcanic flows coming up from it.
Very possible.
Yeah, so these channels might have uncovered some things. I don't know. We're always down there too. Remember, you mentioned the guy saying there was an earthquake device down there. He was a contractor. So, you know, I can only theorize, but, you know, it's pointing at stuff that's hidden to us that shouldn't be.
Absolutely. Let me just thank this guy here, who just gifted 5 subscriptions to the Space Shot 76 channel. His name is Space Shot 76. Thank you. So I figure the gifted subs help the channel, and they will help anybody who just received them not have to see any commercials that may or may not be on there. So I did just gift out 5 to the channel, and let's see, some of you guys got it. Stone Arrow got one, Bamlo got another one, Steph Gray got another one, Gumbo Records, Gum Boot Records, and then Luigi777. Yeah, and Mac, the Stone Arrow saying, you know, swastika is a sun symbol, and it used to be, you know, a symbol of power and stuff like that, right? And so it was one of the things that was good that they took and made bad. And look at this dude. I went on my, I don't know if it's because me. I'm on my home page. Look at that.
Oh yeah. Well, it also has sacred geometry in it, and it's got this Fibonacci sequence or close to it. So I was taking it from that kind of angle, and then looking into, you know, who was using it before. It even symbolizes the tree of life and the golden ratio. It has Fibonacci-based spirals, and has been linked to ancient geometric construction in Hindu and Buddhist art. So I was wondering why they would adopt that if it went back so far, and, you know, what the mathematical implications are from it, possibly. So that's what I found.
Above my pay grade. But all right, so dude, I'm gonna play this in 1 second, but because we're talking about stuff, I have to bring in a funny that I saw the other day, and I'll probably have to cut it out. So later on, the folks on YouTube, you might see a weird edit in the video. So you can go over to pilled.net or rumble.com, and you can watch the full show where they don't make me cut out little pieces of, you know, a 30-second video I'm going to use in my 3-hour video that they basically will stop sharing with everybody else. But, dude, I think you're going to like this one here. And who cares if I have to cut it out later? This is so funny, dude.
Happy House War, what the what? Hitler mustache. Oh, no, this is the Charlie Chaplin mustache. What? Come on, man. Hitler ain't the only person that gets to have this mustache. Yeah, it just caught me off guard. This is my abode, brother. When did you get a German Shepherd? What, Adolf here? No, not Adolf Hitler, okay? Adolf Marx, Harpo. I love the Marx Brothers. Why are you busting my chops? You know this. What? I'll show you the kitchen. No! The swastika? Yeah. The swastika.
This is a vintage comedy prop from the movie The Producers, okay?
A symbol of hate, man. You can't just hang that on your wall.
It's a comedy prop, man. It's just like a rubber chicken.
It's not like a rubber chicken.
You need to relax. Have a beer, all right? Just sit down.
Fine.
Dude, I love
Those guys were outrageous.
And what was it? Dave Chappelle's like, they stole my show.
Yeah, basically. I think they kind of did.
All right, let's listen to some dust talk.
We got word that bad things were happening in China right around the Wuhan clinic. And I was the one that said it was in the Wuhan clinic. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I stuck with it, and it was absolutely. It came out of the Wuhan clinic. But you take a look, and what we did was, this was brand new. Nobody knew what the hell it was. There's dust. Somebody said there's dust coming in from China. And it's killing people in Italy, and it's killing people in France, and it's going to kill people here. And by the way, I shut it down to China. That was a big move. I saved thousands, hundreds of thousands of lives by doing it. But honestly, I don't blame a lot of people because nobody knew what it was. Now we do understand it somewhat. Nobody really understands it even now fully. But nobody knew what COVID was, and it wasn't even a name. I called it the China virus. I still do. I call it the China virus. It came out of China.
He's talking more about the COVID thing here, but he was talking about dust as well.
Is like this smart dust, I believe, that you can put in the air, and like nanoparticles you can breathe in.
And it is legit thing too, dude.
It can be used as a weapon. Yeah.
And I got one. I can show you in a little bit, but go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, go for it and find that. The nuclear dust one. I'll see if I can find a clip that he mentions. But while I'm doing that, you can
cyber attack. Yeah, I'm just looking because this was something I wasn't even planning on. Mike and Ghost had brought it up a few weeks ago, and they were talking about some of this stuff, and it was just like, oh my word. And yeah, they don't even want to talk about much of the scientific stuff lately either, dude. Like you'll notice when we talk, we're not going to probably talk too much about that stuff, about the missing scientists in the tech, because apparently it is a concern. Kind of going back here a couple of weeks here into our chat logs here, but I'll see if I'll pull it up. But yeah, it is a real thing, and it is a real concern.
I got the video at the bottom.
Got it. All right, good. Yeah, because it's
bananas, the smart dust, they can be used to control people's mind, like Project Monarch was talking about. We are batteries, and our brain does function on electrical charges. So what's to say that's not possible given our current technology we have?
Come on. All right, here it is. Let's get you some volume there, sir. Here we go, and ding. Oh, wow.
Iran does not have a nuclear weapon.
All right, give me 1 second, Mac. I'm going to have to boost him up, and it will make you super loud. So just 1 second here. Here we go.
The big thing we have to do is we have to make sure that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, because if they do, you want to talk about problems, you'd have problems. So very important is that Iran does not have a nuclear weapon, and they've agreed to that. Iran's agreed to that, and they've agreed to it very powerfully. They've agreed to give us back the nuclear dust that's way underground because of the attack we made with the B-2 bombers. So we have a lot of agreement with Iran, and I think something's going to happen very positive.
Now, did you bring up that article of Venezuela?
Oh, yeah, that's coming. Let me see.
Okay.
Un segundo, señor. Let me see. Bing, bing, bing. Dude, we need to get a producer in here, bro. Like, it's so much easier if I could just have somebody setting up these stories and clicking it on there for me.
Jamie.
And Jamie, what the hell's your problem? I don't know if, this was the story that you brought today. I covered a little, somebody had a little blurb on it on Twitter yesterday, and I just kind of covered that story, but good to see that John Solomon and had covered it, and that you had gotten this story for today. Energy Department reports removing last of enriched uranium from Venezuela, reducing risk to the United States and South America. So it says the DOE Q clearance, remember, Department of Energy, Q clearance, says the agency has removed 30 pounds of enriched uranium from a research reactor in Venezuela, quote, reducing risk to the United States and South America that could be used to threaten the world with nuclear terrorism. Quote, the safe removal of all enriched uranium from Venezuela sends another signal to the world of a restored and renewed Venezuela. Brandon Williams, administrator for the agency's National Nuclear Administration, said Friday in announcing a joint effort with Venezuelan Institute for Scientific Research. Quote, the people of DNN and its predecessor offices have decades of experience in removing nuclear material from around the globe and ensuring that it cannot be used to threaten the world with nuclear terrorism. It says Venezuela had built the RV-1 reactor to support physics and nuclear research in 1991. It finished its research work and the enriched uranium became surplus material. Energy Secretary Chris Wright visited Venezuela in February and began removing and transporting the material in casks to the United States. The material arrived in the U.S. in early May, then was transported to the Savannah River site, a DOE industrial complex in South Carolina, for processing and reuse. So they've gotten that out of there, dude. That is huge, and I'm gonna be looking
What does
up
processing mean? Identification.
Let me see. When did we go? When did the USA kidnap Maduro? Let me see. I'm trying to look this one up here. U.S. kidnapped. Oh, okay. According to U.S. reports, January 26, Special Operations Forces captured Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. Dude, can you believe it's that long ago now? January 3rd. Like, when I was reading the story here, because they were talking about how Chris Wright went over there in February. And I'm thinking, wait, I think we, like March. I was thinking like early March we went over there and took him. Dude, it's just, again, the enormity to the stuff that we've been seeing and the oddball stuff that we've been seeing over the last many years. Again, we went over and attacked Iran, dropped some big heavy hitter bombs like you saw President Trump just talk about. Shortly thereafter, we go over and we essentially kidnap a president. Now, whether you want to say he's a good guy, bad guy, whatever, he was the known president of a freaking country. We just nabbed him, took him back. Then we started another attack on Iran. And what did the rest of the world do? Absolutely nothing. So, dude, again, in a normal world, I think we would have already had a World War III, 4, 5, 6, whatever you want to call it at this point. But again, something, wink, wink, is going on here. And it's bananas. And I'm going to have to, reiterate by, I think it was a clip that you brought a few weeks ago. It was either you or Lisa had brought the clip of Macron talking about, oh, we have to understand that, what we have is a president of the United States, a president of Russia, and the president of China who are wholly against the against the European Union. I mean, dude, he came out and said, us three countries are basically against Europe. And that's what we, quote, Q-tards have been, shading towards for the last many years. What if Xi and Putin and all these people are working with Trump? Oh, what if? Remember what I said before? You can take the questions in the Q drops, and a lot of them you can actually add a exclamation point to, right? So any thoughts on any of that stuff, bro? Because that was a lot of bleh.
Yeah, Trump hinted that Maduro's giving up some pertinent information. Now, we can then take that to the 2020 election where the Smartmatic machines and all the machines come from. I think it's Venezuela and 72 countries around the world use them.
It sure as hell is. Oh, and actually, you know what? Well, while we're here, what was that one earlier? 908 with the drum roll, right? We'll just check it just to see if there's anything here. Am I showing my screen to the folks? Okay. So it was drum rolls. Australia. Australia donations to Clinton Foundation, dude, on the 908 post.
Yeah.
That's actually plausible for sure. What, you saying something there?
I think I just forgot.
Don't worry. If it's anything like my brain, it'll come back to you in 30 seconds. But again, so 908, that was the drum roll post. And because it's AM, we don't add 1200 for military time. So it was drum roll. And then Australia donations to Clinton Foundation, which is definitely pertinent in the news this week. Trapped, forced blood. And Yeah, so maybe it's nothing. I don't know. We'll see. But how about this one? Wealth over generation buys power. Power over generation buys more wealth and control. More wealth and control buys country and its people. Families combined, TRI, and equals the NWO. So here's what I wanted to get to. Just really quickly, Mac, and then I'm done. So this one right here, guys. Again, you can take a lot of these posts that have a question mark and put a period or an exclamation point, and I would contend this is one of those. What if China, Russia, and others are coordinating with POTUS, President Trump, to eliminate the NWO! Exclamation point. What if? Right? And so I truly believe that is the case, and I think
and we're told
Frenchie said so.
NWO does not stand for new.
Ooh,
so,
Nazi.
I mean, now it's Nazi, but the other N is Nephilim that I could come up with. And then at the top of that post, it talks about families. I still wonder who the real try is. We're right now it's like Rothschild's Rockefeller is who I'm seeing. A lot of Rothschild comms from Trump and stuff. So I wonder how deep this goes.
Trying to adjust my screen a little bit here as we're doing this live here. Ding. No, come on, go up. Display captures. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm going to mess the whole screen up for a second here. There we go. Just down a little bit. There we go. Nope, not that much. Trying to make it so they don't have to see all the address bar crap at the top there. Come on. Boom. Perfect. Okay. So yeah, these are the posts that we talked about. You had just mentioned an N does not refer to Nazi. The continued Nazi ideology is relevant. Events will clarify. Think subgroup. Nazis. I don't know, dude. If it's not Nazi world order, N does not for Nazi. It's not new. NWO does not refer to new.
Everybody have any guesses in the chat?
Well, I mean, dude, think about this. This is weird, right? Because, all right, we're going to go read them in order here really quick. You got a bunch of Germans, soldiers, giving the whole Heil Hitler, and then you have the priests and, whatever. But then it literally says the Nazi order. NWO. N does not refer to new. So I'm like, okay, and this is how I read it back in the day. I'm like, okay, so it's not New World Order, it's Nazi World Order. Okay. The sum of all fears. North Korea, POTUS, hostage, threat, disarm, stage, set, freedom. Okay. Going on to the next one. Ding. Glimpse. You cannot possibly imagine the size of this. Trust the plan. Trust there are more good than bad. The world is helping. We are not alone. We are all connected in this fight. Patriots unite. We are winning big. Watch the speech. God bless. So remember, it literally said right there, it is not, right? The Nazi order. NWO does not refer to new. Okay. Does not refer to new. N does not refer to Nazi either. So, all right, Mac, to your point, I'm going to see if anybody in the chat has an idea because
it could be neo-Nazi, it could be national socialist, Nordic resistant movement.
What's a subgroup of a Nazi that starts with
That's
N?
what I'm reading. That's what I'm reading right now. Neo-Nazi.
in it?
Yeah.
Let's see.
The National Alliance, a U.S.-based white supremacist group with neo-Nazi ideology. National Socialist Underground, a German neo-Nazi terrorist group. Nordic Resistance Movement, a designated neo-Nazi organization active in Sweden and other Nordic countries. National Socialist, the formal name used by the members of the original Nazi Party. I can't even read that German.
I don't think
long.
That's... Yeah, no,
you want to give it a shot?
I think Wheezy might have it, dude. And actually, I don't know. I'm just looking up to see if anybody put it there. I think
it could be this right here. That last one. That's it in German. I can't pronounce that. That's crazy.
I think Wheezy might have it, dude. She wrote neocon.
Yeah.
Norwal. I don't know what a Norwal is. Patriot stunt pilot. What's a Norwal? Isn't that an animal? Neegars. Neegars. S. Stevenson. Nutbags, yeah. Sheba Rista, nutbags will be for sure. Nuremberg number 2, Dr. Open Your Eyes. Patriot Stunt Play, this is Nerds, Natural Law. Remember, guys, we're looking for NWO. So it's supposedly, it's not the New World Order, right, as it says here. And it told us it's the Nazi order. But then it later says, does not, I think it's the same day. N does not refer to Nazi. That's March 10th. Where was this one? March 10th. So literally on the same day, 6:07 p.m. Eastern, they told us it was Nazi order. It does not refer to new. And then minutes later, 6:37, N does not refer to Nazi. Again, curveballs. So yeah, I don't know. Nephilim, that's what you were saying earlier. National World Order. Lori K 223 said. J.C. Bell says Nephilim, like you were saying as well. Nordic, Darling USA, that's possible. Nordy, Darling USA says narcissists. Nerds for sure. I like nerds. We're gonna go with nerds on there. How could it be? Well,
Nuremberg could have been established by a Rothschild. I'm trying to confirm that, but
Haydn Bunter. I like that name. That is cool. It says whale with a sword nose. Haydn Bunter is his name. I like that in the chat there in Rumble. I'm very much into screen names. Audio Scrib 3 makes a good point and says, how could it be biblical and not be Nephilim? That's kind of a good point. Any with a biblical background.
yeah, I was wrong about the Rothschilds. I don't know. I remember something having to do with Nuremberg that I can't remember right now. That was.
If you mean a word starting with N that has a biblical or religious connection and sounds somewhat similar, few possibilities are Nazareans, which I doubt they're going to call themselves the Nazarene World Order, Nephilim, beings mentioned in Genesis and the Hebrew Bible, and Nicolaitans, a group mentioned in the book of Revelation. Nicolaitans, what were those? Nicolaitans were an early Christian sect of group mentioned in the book of Revelation, criticized for practices considered heretical by the text author, cited in Revelation 2:6 and 2:15 as a community whose teachings and behaviors were detested by the faithful in Ephesus and Pergamum. The group's exact doctrines remain debated among scholars and theologians. That's a possibility, no? It sounds like they weren't really in line with the good folks. Nicolaitans? Anybody know about these folks? Naughty.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think naughty.
Well, it'll come to us. We'll find out eventually.
Yeah, for sure. It will. All right, Mac, let me see what else we got on the lineup. I got carte blanche for time tonight, but I'm going to have to support my show and those 5 subscriptions I just bought by reading myself a little commercial here. So if you give me about 45 seconds, I'm going to do one of these deals here. Kids Guide. Here we go. Possibly. Here we go. All right, perfecto. All right, ladies and gentlemen, real talk for a second. America is about to hit a huge milestone. We are coming up on America's 250th birthday. 250 years of freedom, grit, sacrifice, and the greatest experiment in self-government the world has ever seen. This is the perfect moment to help your kids understand why this country matters, not just fireworks and hot dogs, but the story behind it all. There's a free guide called The Kid's Guide to America's 250th Birthday, and it's honestly a great way to introduce kids to how America began, who the founding fathers were, what they risked, and why the ideas they fought for still matter today. This guide sends kids back to the moment when brave men signed the Declaration of Independence, knowing full well they were risking their lives for freedom. It breaks it all down in a way kids can actually understand and enjoy without watering it down or turning it into boring schoolwork. If you care about raising kids who know where this country came from and why it's worth preserving, this is something you'll want to grab. And the best part, it's completely free with this special offer. You only need to pay $2 for shipping and handling. Just head over to freeusabirthday.com. That's freeusabirthday.com. And the Kids Guide to America's 250th Birthday for your kids today. America's story matters. Make sure the next generation knows it. Boom. All right. And actually, I got to get off my butt and actually order one of those today, because I think it's actually good stuff for the kids to have. And I don't know, you ever bump into a dude or come across an account, Colonel Manus? Rob Manus. He's a let me see. This guy right here. Check this out. And actually, I think you might like this, Mac. I actually got his book the other day. My buddy Matthew TNFM is in regular contact with him, and he had a book, and so he sent it to me. I think it was like $20 or something. I got it on Amazon and actually did receive it. I'm not much of a book reader, but I will definitely read this when I get it. It's actually called "What You Can Do," right? So how everybody thinks like we're all individuals and we can't do much. How do we as individuals do things? So I think the angle of that is to kind of talk about what you can do as citizens. But I thought you might like this, a little bit of UFO release info. Still with us, brother? Or are you muted?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm here.
Okay. I'm just making sure you're there. Okay. We'll make sure I didn't cut you off.
Your drop on UFOs, military footage, footage from a variety of places. I see you got a smile on your face, but look, people take this seriously. And these are things, I'm looking at some of this stuff and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm looking at. How important is this?
Well, I think it's important that the government is opening these files up because secrecy, especially in a republic like ours, only adds to the fire of conspiracy theories and what's the government doing now questions and those kind of things. So there's no reason to keep this stuff classified. It should be open to the public whenever we come across something unusual like this. Look, I flew for over 30 years. I've flown around this globe multiple times in all types of conditions, including at night. I never came across any of this stuff, but apparently the Navy guys have, because it's usually the Navy fighter pilots off of carriers that are seeing it. I don't know if that has something to do with the environments they're always operating in over the seas or what. But the stuff is there. It shows actual items. And I look forward to seeing more of it. And if we do have our hands on some aliens, I was a commander at Kirtland Air Force Base. I had mountain complexes on the base and got accused of hiding aliens up there. We didn't have any that I'm aware of, unless some government agency I didn't know about was hiding, which could have been true. It's 53,000 acres of mountains and desert.
Yeah. Apollo 12 and Apollo 17 also apparently getting images of oddities, shall I say. So I'm just going to put you on the spot, Colonel. What do you believe?
I believe that people that are civilizations that have the capability, and if they have the capability to be here, they have the capability to keep it hidden from us to the maximum extent possible. But it's not completely possible. That's why you see these kinds of things. So,
dude, we obviously aren't getting much, and everything that we're getting out of it, if you're noticing it, it's in like an X-ray, or it looks like it's filmed with a friggin' potato peel as a lens. Like they're the most
that's
horrible.
That's because it's infrared.
Yeah, I mean,
but they're not giving us the high quality stuff or the
nothing.
So I did see one of them, the gyroscope one. What is that called? The one you just had up, basically. And it had like a blue and purple kind of metallic look to it. And it didn't look like that kind of spinning top. It looked like a regular stationary vehicle, but in the infrared, it's producing these heat signatures that, make it look distorting the air around it. It's very interesting. I know that they're using very sophisticated cameras. I mean, that's a drone in the air focusing into I don't know how far away.
Wow. Yeah, it's and they were saying essentially some of these things are going so fast that they would be killing people inside from the inertia moving moving back and forth essentially.
I think there's different types of them. I mean, the smaller ones are most likely drones, so that and then that just the drone itself. Don't put anybody in it, and then see the maneuvers that it does. It defies gravity, so it defies our current physics. So right there, that higher tech than we currently are aware of. And then if you put a person in it and a larger one, you would think that we're told that the Roswell crash, or Bob Lazar said there's 3 occupants could sit in them. Is like, how can they survive that type of G-force, maneuverability and speed?
Right.
So
Doesn't make
that
sense.
introduces another type of technology. Then you got to steer the thing, and then you got to think about how they did like the machine itself, and it's like 3D printed. So that's another technology. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, you start thinking about like how they're putting a bubble of space essentially around the craft, right? And then it's like, as you're messing with all the drag in the air or the lack thereof, then you're like, all right, then we got to steer the thing too. So yeah, it's beyond crazy. And like the video we showed a little earlier of I think it was the Colonel as well, Stephen Quast there, talking about how we can go from anywhere on Earth to another place on Earth in an hour. Yeah. I believe if they're telling us that now, that they already have tech that they can do it like in an instant. You know what I mean? So they never tell us about the current tech that they have. So in my opinion, that's probably 10 years. It's probably 10 years old at this point. And just really quick, guys, I'm not, advertising, anything. It's just, I know this guy to be a good guy. He's done many interviews with my buddy Matthew TNFM. And I did go and buy this. I can't give you a review on it just yet, but he did do this book here. You guys can look it up yourself. I wouldn't put the link in because it's about, all the links are about 40 friggin' lines but it says, what you can do about it, taking real action against corruption, radicalism, and moral decay to save America. So this dude is a real deal, retired colonel, 32-year Air Force combat vet, enlisted EOD, B-1, squad commander, wing commander, nuclear ops, 9/11 Pentagon survivor, former U.S. Senate candidate, and so he has a show as well. But good dude, and I know him to be a good dude, solid guy. So support patriots would be my thing. So I guess I am advertising for him a little bit, but good people. So rising tides, right? What else we got here, brother? Let's see. Oh, so you had that one, and I played a little deal of the other clip of the Venezuela stuff where they were taking out the uranium. But this one, I think you had dropped this also. I think this is the one that you had dropped just before the show that I told you I had in the mix, right? This is the same one, I'm pretty sure. But
yes.
It's talking about the Cabinet of Soros. A little bit of reading, but it's definitely very interesting. It says that story of the National Security Action, a secretive Soros NGO. 10 days after Trump's inauguration, former Pentagon official publicly floated a military coup in Foreign Policy magazine. Within a year, she was advising a new Soros-funded organization that quietly assembled 70 former Obama national security officials under one roof. 46 of them went on to staff the Biden administration. Coincidence, huh? Including the Secretary of State, CIA Director, DNI, NSA, and UN Ambassador. 88.6% were Obama alumni. The primary funder, Open Society Action Fund. The same woman simultaneously sat on the funder's board and the organization's advisory council. She also co-founded the Transition Integrity Project and spent 14 years at New America developing doctrine on military refusal of orders. Read it here. So maybe you can read a little of this. Tom Perriello ran the Soros Fund that bankrolled Indivisible while sitting on its board. Kathy Russell oversaw Biden appointments, married to ex-National Security Advisor and BlackRock Chair Donilon. Rosa Brooks, Open Society Board, co-founded Transition Integrity Project. Caroline Tess, National Security Action, and ran Biden's National Security Transition simultaneously. Ben Rhodes co-chaired National Security Action, architectured Obama's Iran deal. One of my favorites, guys, and again,
remember last week he played that video. He's trying to run for president, possibly.
Good luck, dork. Yeah. That he was going to be that was the plan. That after Hillary, him and his wife would be running the country. And remember, I've said it numerous times ad nauseum by now. If you guys want to know who Jake Sullivan is, go look up the WikiLeaks videos on Podesta and Hillary. And Jake, thanks Jake, to Jake, from Jake. Hillary, Jake said this, and Jake sent me that, and so. Jake was an integral part of the slimy machine. Co-chaired National Security Action, became Biden's national security advisor. Tony Blinken, West Eck Advisors co-founder, became Biden's Secretary of State. William Burns, ex-CIA director, former Carnegie Endowment president. Susan Rice, Obama's national security advisor and new UN ambassador. Penny Pritzker, that's a weird last name. Pritzker, huh? Ukraine Reconstruction Czar, Carnegie Endowment president. Isn't she Pritzker's wife? I wonder if that's the fat ass's wife or is that his daughter? Samantha Power.
A bunch of them are.
Right? Penny, I got to find this out because it's going to bug me. Penny Pritzker, yes. American billionaire businesswoman. Penny Sue Pritzker, American heiress, businesswoman and lawyer who served from 2013 to 17 as the 38th United States Secretary of Congress. Of Commerce. What the hell? Hold on. Is she married to him? Let's see. Born spouse Brian Traubert. Gotta be.
There's a bunch of Pritzkers though.
So I guess she's not related to the Pritzkers of Illinois. Illinois. Donald Pritzker Sue.
She's a sister of the Illinois governor.
Yeah, there it is. Fat slob. Okay. William Burns. Yeah, we got Penny Pritzker. So she was, and Samantha Power. And then Jen, circle back, Psaki, White House press secretary and MSNBC host. Oh, boy. Dude, yeah, this is good stuff, though. But they've mapped these systems for years now, and I believe they have it all, dude. And, they have the connections to now they have, inside the IRS where they can check out all these suspicious activity reports, dude. And how many did they have in the Biden administration and all these other people? It's absolutely wild. And now, remember, we've had it all for a very long time. Very long time. Let me see. What else do we got? Oh, this one you brought in, and it was so funny, dude, that we, of course, got to play it. But it's a little political as well. Probably going to have to cut this one again. So remember, YouTube, if you guys are noticing, the video just cut from one thing to another and it didn't look like it flowed normally, that's because this part of this video got cut out of it. So to watch the full unedited versions, go over to pilled.net and search Space Shot 76, or go over to rumble.com, Space Shot 76. So here's a little Shane Gillis. Dude, I could listen to this guy for hours. Hilarious.
Chelsea is a Zionist. I'm not saying that's good or bad. Speaking of dead kids, she's a big fan of abortions. Chelsea's been scraped more times than the grill at Benihana. Speaking of tossing tiny shrimp into a child's mouth, Chelsea Handler went to dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's house in 2010. It's just a fun one. You can look it up. There's articles. It wasn't like a big party. There was like 7 people there. And it was like Prince Andrew and Woody Allen were there. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea Handler.
And Shane, just so you know, Judaism and Zionism are 2 different things. Kind of like how Chinatown and Koreatown are 2 different things, but your favorite slur works in both places. Shane has been accused of being anti-Asian, which is ironic considering he has the complexion and physique of a steamed dumpling.
Dude, just let it go. You got a little older. It's okay. You don't need to make your face look like a leather handbag. Like, seriously, dude? What is up with her, dude? She's like, ugh.
I just don't understand why she's in it. I don't know.
Well, I guess it was a roast for Kevin Hart.
Was she good friends with Kevin Hart?
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
don't know.
It's just interesting, just an interesting pool. And they mentioned they mentioned something else that was interesting. They were calling out some things.
Some things. Well, let's see. NDTV picked this one up as well. It says it's a read time of 3 minutes. We're blocking this one. Netflix roast night goes off track as Shane Gillis targets Chelsea Handler with Jeffrey Epstein joke. Spoke about a dinner Chelsea Handler reportedly attended in 2010, and Jeffrey Epstein was among the attendees. Kevin Hart was meant to be the main focus, but attention quickly shifted to Shane Gillis and Chelsea Handler 2 years after his prison sentence for solicitation. So, Gillis, who hosted the event, spoke about a dinner Handler reportedly attended in 2010 that included Jeffrey Epstein. And remember, 2008 was his court date time. So people knew he was a pedo after 2008. So she still met with him, and guess who else? He also mentioned that the gathering was small, saying only a few people were present, including Prince Andrew and Woody Allen. Gillis even told the audience that he considered all of this part of a roast performance and suggested people can find information about the dinner in public reports online. Going back and forth. I'm just trying to see if they fact check this at all. Chelsea Handler has often said that she only went to one dinner at Epstein's home. She has made it clear she never visited his controversial private island, never had a close relationship with him. She also tried to separate herself from Epstein, saying the meeting was limited to a single event and nothing more. Oh, she never said she didn't go to the ranch either. Never went to the island, Mac. How about the ranch? Yeah, no, never been to the island.
Yeah.
How about that ranch?
Isn't it weird that her initial C and then Handler reminds you of Rachel Chandler? And
Rachel Chandler Handler.
You know, C Handler was always like the child handler was the nickname. So you just wonder about Chelsea.
Oh, yes, we do. Well, remember, she went out with 50 Cent, 50 Cent, I think, right? Didn't she date 50 Cent?
Yeah, she did.
Dude, so this is interesting, and I got a couple of supplementals from up north coming in for this one. So this is interesting. And again, it's going to be a race for 51, right, dude? Like, who do you think's going to get in first? Who's going to be the 51st state? Are we going to
I didn't have Venezuela on my bingo card.
Right? Do you got Venezuela, Cuba, Greenland?
It has that much value, you know, and then, you know, the strategic location. So,
yeah. Well, put your bets in the chat, guys. What do you guys think? Is it going to be Cuba? Is it going to be Alberta, Canada? Is it going to be Greenland or Venezuela? Which one will be the 51st state, if any? Please leave your comments. I want to see what the overall answers are there in a minute.
The president this morning, it was just before the Oval Office event, he kind of surprised me a little bit because he said, John, I just want to tell you, I'm very serious about this. So you can talk about this. I'm serious about beginning a process to make Venezuela the 51st state. Now, there's a rich history in this nation of taking territories and absorbing them into the United States. You know, Puerto Rico is one that people talk about. But this would be the first time, to my knowledge, that a sovereign country was ever invited to join the United States of America. How would that work?
Well, John, I won't get ahead of what the president was comfortable sharing with you as far as those plans go. But look, this is a president who is famous for never accepting the status quo. He is always considering a host of options to improve our country. And of course, Venezuela, now led by President Delcy Rodriguez, is working incredibly cooperatively with the United States. So I won't get ahead of any plans that the president may have to that effect. But look, this has been a tremendous success. The United States revitalizing our relationship with Venezuela and in turn improving the economic situation of both countries and our people.
So there it is.
So she didn't answer the question.
No. Just bring it up, just, you know, to say whatever. You know, we're cool. It's cool.
It's interesting, nonetheless. It's
Certainly
very
is.
mineral rich, too. It's not a poor country.
What was this? Oh, okay. Political prosecutions. Okay, here we go. Venezuela, got that one. Okay, bing. And we got some, I think, really good news for, we're not playing this whole thing at all, but We'll play about a minute of it. It's like 5 minutes, but we get what we need in about the first minute or so. Here we go.
Can you understand how, on the face of it, Canadians would view, some Canadians outside of the ones that support your cause, who are not necessarily unempathetic to the frustrations expressed by people in this province, but who would view the idea of, people here meeting with a government that has, spoken the way it has about this country as a whole as problematic and seeking money to make this happen.
I understand that there's a lot of Ontarians and people in Quebec that suffer deeply from Trump derangement syndrome, but we're not doing anything untoward. It's absolutely, from our perspective, we're just conducting due diligence on behalf of our fellow Albertans. We're serious professionals. I mean, I've argued cases at the Supreme Court of Canada, for goodness sake. I mean, we take what we're doing very seriously, and obviously the attitude of the United States towards Alberta independence, which incidentally is overwhelmingly enthusiastic, is something that informs our movement going forward. If the United States said, oh God, we can't tolerate that, flies in the face of, the communist New World Order, we'll slap a 300% tariff on Albertans if they leave because we want you to remain resource slaves of the communist government in Ottawa, it would be a totally different conversation.
So the team is talking to these guys, the Trump transition team. Says Alberta separatist lawyer Jeff Rath confirms he's been meeting with high-level officials in the Trump administration, and he says that President Trump will recognize them as a sovereign state. So, we get a lot of this sovereign state, sovereign country talk, a lot of sovereign stuff, which we need to get back to. Everybody needs to be able to be a sovereign man or woman.
Music to my ears.
Right? I mean, I'm going to see what the chat's got to say, too, because I'm wondering where everybody's leaning over there. Let me pull up Pilled as well.
They're the money makers of Canada, so that would be a gut-wrenching experience for the Canadian.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it would be. Space Shot. Why does my account not come up? There we go. Where we got? Let me see what you guys are saying. DC, Alberta. Let's see. So... Elixir 50 says Alberta. Let's see. I'm just looking at anybody over there saying anybody's comments. No, nobody else over there. Wait. Nope, nobody else on Foxhole is putting any more comments about their opinion on that. But YouTube and YouTube, let's see. Liz Jane says, if I had to pick one, it would be Cuba. Let's see. JJ White says all of Canada. Tex Tangirl says, amen, we should all be sovereign. Yeah. No, Warrior Mima would mean Alberta would become the 51st state. It would basically become, a part of the United States. Let's see here. We're stolen. Luigi777 says, definitely Cuba. And I should, tomorrow evening, guys, I should be back with Ghost, Mike, Armando, and Jeff, I believe. We should be back normal time, 6 p.m. Tuesday evening. But as well, let's see, it's planned. Let's see, Greenland, Major Headache says, Greenland also allows us to control new shipping lanes northward. Yeah, let's see, anybody else over here? B. Moore says, Greenland, B. Moore 924. Real Willow says, oh, Canada. Yo-ho Lo says, Alberta, dude. Eliz Jane, none of the above. Trump just threatens as leverage. Trump's funny like that. And that, that as well could be a thing. And that may have implications to the way, Albertans are being treated by their country right now, right? So it's very possible. Major Headache
whatever is going on, Trump's fighting for the people, So if the Albertans are tired of, like he said, the communist government, then he's going to talk to them. So, and the people are all for it. So why not?
Yeah. Let's see. High Test says, "Oops, Cuba." Dave Lang says Cuba will become a territory, I think. And then David End says Alberta is going for sovereignty. Best guess is Cuba. So I mean, yeah, if they're going to become like a Puerto Rico, right, like a territory, because they're not part of the contiguous United States or whatever, that's a possibility. But as long as they're under a different leadership, essentially.
Yeah, whatever Trump wants to do, I'm for it.
I'm down. I'm down with it, for whatever they want to do for sure. But,
I don't know the requirements. Cuba's great for its positioning, Venezuela as well, Canada, Greenland. They're all strategically placed, and why not?
wow. This I think is big, and this came up maybe half hour after we started our show here, but this is worth bringing up because this is what we have to get back to is home ownership. And for the place where I live, dude, I am fortunate enough to be kind of grandfathered into a cheaper price. But if I had to get even a 1-bedroom apartment, remember I have a son, so I can't have a 1-bedroom apartment. You're talking minimum, bare bones minimum, $2,000, and bare bones minimum $2,500 for a 2-bedroom. So it's so ridiculously expensive, but I feel like it's been by design. But I bring you President Trump's post here as showing you that he is also seeing what we are feeling. So he says, as I said at my State of the Union address on February 25th, the American dream of home ownership is under attack. For example, Rachel Wiggins, a mom of 2 from Houston, placed bids on 20 homes and lost all of those bids to gigantic investment firms that bypassed inspection, paid all cash, and turned those houses into rentals, stealing away her American dream. She was devastated. Stories like this are why I signed an executive order to ban large Wall Street investment firms from buying up single-family homes. Also, in my speech, I called for Congress to save the American dream of home ownership and ban these purchases permanently. Senators Bernie Moreno and Tim Scott have worked to ensure my call becomes a reality, and I have a bill which has passed the Senate with nearly 90 votes. I am asking Congress to pass that bill, the 21st Century Road to Housing Act, which would ensure that homes are for people, not for corporations. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. And that's what they were doing, Mac, right? Black
Yeah.
Vanguard and black
I voted
whatever.
for this.
Where's my sticker?
No, this is how they inflate markets. They're inflating the real estate market by doing this. Like I said, NGOs were taking government money and reinvesting in real estate.
And
they
making
would
it
buy
more
it.
expensive for us to buy houses.
And there's different ways to buy a house. So they probably, like they said, uninspected. So it's sight unseen. You just buy it.
I mean,
And
you
then
can't,
as is.
normal person can't contend with that. Unless you're a multimillionaire, you can't contend like that. And so that's kind of his point. Like, hey, a mom of 2, from Houston, put bids on 20 houses. And I don't know if you've been hearing the story. Even Wheezy was telling me, I'm not giving away any personal information because this happens to a lot of people, but she'll tell me, over the last couple of years, she'll get a letter like, posted on her door, like, oh, hey, we'll buy your house for cash. And what these people are doing, and I have no idea of the value of her house whatsoever, so I'm just putting a blank amount on a house just for easy math. Let's say a house that you had that is worth $200,000 and you're putting on the market for $200,000. Well, some of these people are coming in and they're like, "Oh, we'll give you $225,000." And it's like, "Wait, I'm asking $200,000, but they're offering me $20,000 more?" And they were doing this a lot, offering people more for their homes than they would get. And then again, the corporations would get it and not the people, and then turning it into a rental. And that's why you have, like I mentioned earlier, rentals at bare minimum $2,000, dude. Can you imagine like aliens coming from another country or another planet and looking down on us going, "Wait, you guys have to pay to like stay in that one place?" Like, that's weird. Home ownership or property ownership is just weird, especially as we're all living on the same damn planet. I don't know. It's just super weird, dude, but it needs to go for sure. Like, they can't be continuing to do this. And I'm glad that he did put that act in, and hopefully the 21st Century Road to Housing Act does pass. 90 votes in the Senate. That's good.
This will help stabilize the market even more. Because they've been taking advantage of this for so long. It's crazy.
Yeah, and basically what is happening is we're getting hit from every angle, right? Absolutely every angle here. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with all the houses they already bought, because they have been buying lots of houses.
Put them up for sale, probably.
Yeah, I mean, So what does it say that they can't? All right, so his executive order states that they cannot buy up single-family homes, but if they have already bought them, right? Like I feel like they should be able to retroactively go after these people and make them, because they're not doing it for a good thing, right? They're not doing it for like, oh, it's just our business model and we're doing this for good business. It's ruining, home ownership for millions and millions of people out there who just simply can't afford these boosted up prices, dude. It's just too much, really too much. But I think, dude,
if the market's saturated, the price of the houses will come down automatically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So if it's to the point where he's got to do this, I think it's probably going to open up some eyes on how much the housing market's going to come down a little bit.
Yeah, I would say. I think we got some good news for Lisa, dude. Did you hear anything about their elections over there? I'm going to play. I got a couple of clips here. We'll pull this one up first. We'll do this one here.
I did not get a chance to talk to her about the elections.
Crazy.
I have not been tracking them.
It says Badenoch claims Tories, quote, coming back despite widespread losses in local elections. So it says party leader statement came after the Conservatives won back Westminster Council in London. She said that they're coming back after winning back Westminster Council from Labour in London, despite her party suffering significant losses throughout England in Thursday's elections. The party also saw a threat from Reform UK in Bexley, but the Tories suffered a series of losses in Essex, where Badenoch herself is an MP, losing 41 seats, while Reform gained 52. They held on to Harlow, securing all 11 district council seats available. Let's see. Greg, 3012. Please leave me a comment and let me know how did you like the results of this. You don't have to leave a Rumble rant. I'm going to be looking for your comment if you're here, because I know he's from the north of the UK. So I'm wondering how these votes, how he's processing them and how he's seeing them as well. So if you're here, Greg 3012, please leave me just a regular comment and I will read that for the folks, because nothing's better than actual people that are in the area to report on there. In Havering, where the Conservatives had 14 councillors before the election, the party was wiped out, with Reform making up 39 of Havering's 55 councillors. The Havering Residents Association was pushed into second place as official opposition with 14 councillors, while Labour held on to 2 of 4 seats. So these are this is like a bad thing for one side, but watch this, dude. Ding! Labour loses ground as Reform UK surges in British local elections. Look at this. Britain's ruling Labour Party suffered major losses in local elections, while Reform UK made significant gains. Across around 5,000 council seats in 136 English councils and elections to the Scottish and Welsh parliaments, Labour lost almost 1,500 council seats in England and surrendered control of about 40 local councils, including several traditional strongholds in the elections on Thursday. The opposition Conservatives also endured heavy losses, losing more than 500 council seats, winning just over 800. Reform UK emerged as one of the biggest winners in the election, gaining more than 1,400 council seats and taking control of 14 local councils, many in traditional Labour or Conservative strongholds. The Liberal Democrats and the Greens also made gains. In Scotland, Scottish National Party remained the largest force in the 129-seat parliament with 58 seats, though short of a majority. The Conservatives lost 19 seats, while Reform UK made big gains, winning 17 seats level with Labour. So in Wales, Labour suffered historic setbacks, securing only 9 seats in the expanded 96-seat Welsh Parliament. Welsh First Minister Eluned Morgan lost her seat on Friday and subsequently announced her resignation. Plaid Cymru became the largest party in the Welsh Parliament with 43 seats, followed by Reform UK with 34. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the results were tough, even before the full results were released. Quote, I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It's really important that we reflect and respond. The electorate sends a message like that, he said. I think we have to set out the path ahead. That's what I intend to do in the coming days. A growing number of Labour members of Parliament are now calling on Starmer to resign or plan for his resignation, but he insists that he's not going to walk away and plunge the country into chaos. but I heard yesterday he may have resigned, and I don't know if that's official or not. So let me see if Greg 3012 is in the chat today.
Forgot to mention when we were talking about Canada, Obama went and met with Mark Carney this past week.
Oh, you don't say.
Yeah, why is Obama traveling around the world meeting with people? He's not a politician, right?
It's supposed to be. Was that the Logan Act? I think it is. You talking about this one? Ding, ding, ding. Now, Barack Obama is up in Canada holding private discussions with Prime Minister Carney. Obama needs to sit down and figure out his freaking place before his ass ends up in prison for violating the Logan Act. Trump is our president. You've been sidelined, Hussein. Obama ahead. No, what's the word? Ahead of POTUS, behind
Travel.
Obama travel. Oh God, that's awful. Here we go. Yeah, and why is this happening? Why does this happen over and over? Post number 17. Why does Obama travel in advance of POTUS to foreign locations? Why is this relevant? Focus on the power of POTUS as it relates to the Marines. How can military intelligence be applied to prosecute bad actors and avoid corrupt agencies and judges? Above reason is why the shills are sliding. In case you didn't know, shills log and send new info back to ASF for instructions. They use PRIPROM, blah, 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 blah. So this is interesting, but this is the point of why I wanted to bring it up, is that the drops were telling us that, remember, not only was Obama doing it, but John Kerry was doing it a lot, especially in Iran, meeting with the Iranians, of which I believe his daughter married one of them as well. But, why does Obama travel in advance of POTUS to foreign locations? Oh, I don't know. It's something like this. Let me be clear. We're going to get this orange man out of there. And so, just resist anything he's got to say or play along like you're going to, but we'll have him out of there in short order. We got some things cooking. Crossfire Hurricane, Plasmic Echo, all these other things. Round River, he'll be gone soon. So that's how I envision, his meetings with them is like, don't worry, this guy's running the show now, but we'll have him out of here in short order. Just follow the plan, like their plan. That's how I read that. How about you, brother?
Yeah, I think they're on a retreat. Like you said, they gotta figure out what's going on. They think Trump's gonna go out. SNL just played. Did you see that clip where they made fun of? Here, they made fun of. Shoot.
Oh, nice.
They made fun. They made fun of Pete Hegseth and Kash Patel, I think. But they also insinuated Trump's going to run for a third term.
Is it this one here, like at a bar?
Yeah, that one. Now that's called soft disclosure. That's what they do in these types of platforms. But what's his name does a funny job.
They got Aziz Ansari to do Cash. Who is that? Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
Matt Damon, and he's playing Hegseth, the dude there. Dude, who's his wife? His wife is like some
famous actress. Yeah, redheadish.
Oh God, wasn't the girl that played Lucy?
You gotta say her name, like Laurie Duff or whatever her name is. Duffy.
No,
Duff.
who was the girl that played the movie Lucy? And she was in.
No idea.
Oh God. God, this is gonna kill me. Movie Lucy. Isn't this her? Why can't I remember her name? Come on. Her. Scarlett Johansson. I think that's his wife.
Yes, that's her. Yep, that's who he's married to.
Isn't that crazy? Occupation. More about Scarlett Johansson. Oh, she was married to Ryan Reynolds. Oh, and then, married in 2008. Who's gay? Married in 2008, divorced 3 years later, and then she married Romain Doriak for 3 years, and she married Colin Jost that guy, in 2020. So, hey, she's 3 years appears to be her max, and now she's at 6 with this guy, so good for her. All right, let's take a listen. I have not seen this, so watching this fresh. And again, you're watching on YouTube and you notice that you're seeing this video that I'm about to play, if you don't see this video play, then you can go over to pilled.net or rumble.com. I will leave pinned comments below so you guys can follow. Whether you're going to watch over there or not, do us a favor, click the thumbs up wherever you are, and give us a follow so that way if you wake up one day and I'm not on YouTube, which, by the way, it happened for exactly 5 years, you'll know where to find us. Ding.
More people in
And it is real, dude, too. I forgot what the brand is, but I think Tron would notice that the label is like a good label. Let's see. Ash Patel whiskey. You talking and muted? You doing the space mute?
No. I'm just still trying to find this Saturday Night Live video. Here we go.
Let me see.
Here it is.
All right, hold on.
Yeah, all he does is buy a bourbon barrel from a bigger company, finds a bottle and bottles it and calls it Cash Patel. Anybody can do this.
It's WR. I forget something reserve. Well, you know about alcohol, right?
Willits? Is it Willits?
No, it's something reserve. Woodford Reserve.
Oh, Woodford. Yeah, Woodford Reserve. There you go.
So yeah, it's not Cash Patel's, alcohol. He's not out there like making it. He literally took Woodford Reserve, put it in a bottle, and then they put Director Cash Patel on there. Can we buy one of these, dude? I wonder if
Not sure.
I don't even drink alcohol, but like, can I buy one?
I mean, it's a pretty cool memento to make.
And buy. I gotta get all the caps off. Let me see. No, you cannot. From official channels, the bottles in question are Woodford Reserve and engraved, and the spelling cash confirm these custom engravings are done by consumers after retail purchase, meaning the bottles are not produced or sold as commercial product by the distillery or Patel. While the auctions are not for sale as a brand, individual bottles have appeared on auction sites like eBay. I mean, dude, somebody could probably, you probably just get a bottle of this stuff and like make a fake one yourself, print the label, you know what I mean? Do it all yourself. Right, where was I going? You had something in Telegram?
Yeah, yeah.
Let me see. Ding, ding, ding. Okay, let's get this.
Opening up, can I?
Oh, here we go. Gonna get Mr. Matt Damon bigger here. We go. That's so freaking good. But dude, yes, is that self-disclosure? Are we getting a third term?
Yeah, because the original Constitution, there were no term limits.
That's
Remember,
true.
I think that's what amendment was it? Is it 25th?
25th is the one removing the president. I know that one for sure.
Oh yeah. What's the one where the term limits?
Let's see. What part of the Constitution has term limits?
Why can't I think of it right now? 22nd Amendment. So it's after the 17th Amendment. Or which we were just talking about, the 17th Amendment, right? The 14th Amendment. Which one was it? 1913. They ratified the 14th Amendment.
I believe so. So many amendments flying around here. You said the 22nd? Establishes a two. Yeah, okay. Let me pull this up here. So it says the 22nd Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1951, establishes a two-term limit for elected presidents, preventing any individual from being elected to the office more than twice. Also stipulates that a person who assumes the presidency and serves more than 2 years of another president's term is eligible for election only once more, while those serving 2 years or less may be elected twice. So technically, you could be a president for 12 years. Say if, God forbid anything happened to President Trump and J.D. Vance steps in for any term that is under 2 years, and then he could be elected for 2 more. Now, and again, dude, don't take this the wrong way. I love President Trump, but the idea that this guy can just keep being our president forever, I don't think. For one, I don't think he's going to want to live the last 10 years of his life as the president, just for all the things that it has to do and moving around.
I've already told you why. Because they cheated the election.
Oh yeah, that part of it, yeah.
So he'll get 2 terms, but the original Constitution, there was no 22nd Amendment, and this was created because of Roosevelt's 4-term presidency, and one side was unhappy with that, so they made this amendment so it could never happen again. But if you think about it, as far as how deep state functions, they use this as a weapon because it's only 8 years, possibly 12 years, and you got guys that are lifers that are in the system that can work around all this. So there is a give and a take. Now my point was being that the 16th and the 17th Amendment were ratified in 1913. So anything after that would it be considered unconstitutional? Because
shouldn't
it
be.
happened. Yeah. So I don't know. But it's food for thought.
Very, very much so. All right. Anything that we need to make sure we didn't cover that we need to get out? Because let me take a look at my show notes here. Labor loss, elections. Oh, I had this one with Nick Shirley here and JD Vance. I thought it was interesting. They did a little update to the. Remember how they said they were not going to go after any fraud underneath a certain dollar amount? Well, that changed.
Now that we have the fraud task force here inside the United States, what will you guys be doing different than something that we haven't done before to tackle fraud here?
Well, two really big things, Nick. So the first of all is we're going to be coordinating across the government in a way that's really never been done before to focus on anti-fraud. So let's say, for example, that Scott Bessent or somebody at the Secretary of Treasury's office sees a fraudulent payment made, but it's not at the Treasury Department, it's at the Center for Medicare and Medicaid. There's going to be coordination now so that when one person in the government sees fraud happening, they're actually telling everybody else so that we can get to the root of it and hopefully prosecute it. And that leads me to my second point, and maybe the most important is we've never before within the Department of Justice had a committed anti-fraud task force, a committed assistant attorney general who's focused on the fraud issue. What our new AAG focus on fraud has told me that right now we don't even prosecute fraud that's under $1.5 million, which means there's a lot of fraudsters who never get caught, who never get punished. We're changing that too.
So there's people who are making $1.5 million committing fraud, and they used to not be prosecuted. When can we expect to see prosecutions take place, for instance, for example, like the Lears at the Leering Center?
So we just got AAG, our new AAG, confirmed. He hasn't even been sworn in yet. I'll swear him in next week, actually. And look, I think the plan is we got to start doing prosecutions as quickly as possible. These cases take a little while to build. You've got to investigate. You've got to gather evidence. But now that we have that guy set up, now that we have Colin McDonald set up, I think in a matter of months, we should be seeing a significant ramp up in the number of prosecutions that we're seeing.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Of course. Good to meet you, man. Thanks for all your hard work.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Let's let the fraudsters leer their lesson the hard way.
Leer their lesson.
This is before Blanche, that interview, I believe, but which is good because they've already raided the Leering Center. There was another Leering Center they found. Did you hear about that?
Where was this one?
Let me see if I can find it.
Go ahead and take a look. I'm going to answer a question in the chat here. They were asking who was the longest. Was there a longest president before 1951? It was Roosevelt. He did almost 4 terms. He did 3 terms. Let me see here. He was 4,422 days from March 4th, 1933, until his death. 12 years later, April 12th, 1945. He's the only president to have served more than 2 terms, being elected to 4 terms while being, during the Great Depression and World War II. It led to the ratification of the 22nd Amendment, which limits the president to 2 elected terms. He served 3 full terms plus 82 days of his 4th term, which he died on that 82nd day. All other U.S. presidents served 8 years or less, with 13 serving 2 full terms. 2,922 days. So that's the answer to that one. Bing. You had something you want to show, brother, or you're pulling up or looking for?
I put it in the bottom of the chat. It's in Texas.
Ducky.
Oh, yeah. Wouldn't you know? It's Muslim only water park.
Oh, no. Raggy. Come on, go away there. Here we go. Ding. This one. Oh, boy. And, of course, it wants to open. Every tab opens on the other one, but not this one. Okay. Organizer of Texas Muslim-only water park event runs a misspelled Leering Center child care org. Oh, my goodness. Let's see what we got here. Enter free, must be accompanied by a paying adult. Let's go to the beginning here. So maybe I missed something here. Muslims only event. That's nice, huh? That's not racist?
Water park in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
That's not racist, dude? Like, if you were to tell people this
Totally
is only
is.
for white people. Exclusive, modest
100%.
dress code, private prayer area, close to the public. Okay, Muslims only. Muslims only. Sparks outrage. I mean, it looks fun. Muslim only, though. Oh, here we go. Epic plays, EID, Epic Indoor
I think
Park.
it's just that event. So it was on that time frame, 3 to 8 p.m. But she ran events that were for Muslim only.
That's disgusting. And again, if you did this and you said, oh, it's only Christians, you're telling me like Muslim people wouldn't get upset at that, or any other religion wouldn't get upset at that? It's disgusting. Disgusting. Muslim only water park runs a misspelled Leering Center childcare org. The head of the group that rented out a taxpayer-funded water park for an event that was advertised as Muslim only runs a childhood education center with the exact same unfortunate Leering Center typo first seen at infamous daycare in Minneapolis. Dude, how can you spell excellence, but you can't spell learning? I mean, doctor. I'm sorry, dude. I'm just like, really? You're a doctor? A doctor
This is how
of
bad
what?
it was,
A doctor of what, dude? Like, I would say not literature, not education. Excellence Leering Center, as its misspelled website header reads, located in the Fort Worth suburb of Hearst, offers a variety of programs for youngsters from infants to pre-K and promises to provide children with the loving, personal care that they need to thrive and feel confident. Multiculturalism. Hey, the woman who started a Muslim-only water park event is boasting multiculturalism at her place, I'm sure. Oh, my God. All right, dude. Well, we're about 2 minutes from 3 hours, so I figure 3 hours will be a good wrapping point today. Unless you have anything that's like pertinent that we should get out. And I'm gonna also look and see if Greg got any. If
Trump had a new nickname for Democrats, the Democrats. I like that one.
The Democrats.
Yeah, and Republicans, I think the name is Trumplican. Now I was calling it Trumpican, but now we're gonna use the L, Trumplican, for the new Republican Party. I think is how we're gonna be labeled.
Dude, I get some funny ones in the chat too about the Muslim park there. Let's see, where was this one? Bamlo. I don't see any of those girls swimming in those sheets. Nuke Hayes says McDonald's hasn't been able to spell drive-through correctly in decades. It's true, right? THRU. Let's see. They can keep Vancouver itself. It's like Seattle North. Sheba used to saying. Yeah, there's no learning there. Freudian slip. Darling USA says. La la la. Sparked the outrage. Lancelot Dufresne says. Sparked outrage. La la la. Ridiculous. Awesome. Burke is on the water slides.
RFK Jr. announced he's signing a directive banning transgender surgeries for minors nationwide. So that's fantastic.
Interesting.
I came across this one. Circle. There, I'm just going to give you the link because I don't know much about Circle, but all the companies we talk about, BlackRock, Apollo, and some others are investing in it.
Circle makes a square. G-Fonts dropped $1. Rumble Rant says, I'm still an hour behind about the N word. He says, the N not being new and Neo for neocon is the new con. Nephilim can make it sense if anti-American sovereignty, but a nationalist world order can imply individual nations. Ooh, nationalist world order. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we ever got a good answer on that one. Nationalist world order or neocon world order? I mean, I'm definitely kind of leaning towards the neocon. I think that might...
Neptune. I don't know.
Neptune. The Neptunians. Okay, let me see. Let me pull this one up here. Ding, ding. This one here. Ding, ding, ding. Of course, it goes to the other one. Come on, Jamie. Go to the right screen, Jamie. All right, what do we got here? Circle raises $222 million from BlackRock, Apollo, and others in ARK token pre-sale valued at $3 billion. Circle Internet Group has raised $222 million in the pre-sale of a token tied to its ARK blockchain, giving the network a fully diluted network valuation of $3 billion. Andreessen Horowitz led the investment. BlackRock, Apollo Funds, and Intercontinental Exchange are among roughly 12 financial heavy hitters that participated in the pre-sale. Quote, we're entering the operating system business, and we're doing it by building this multi-stakeholder distributed model with a token, with a distributed network, and we're also getting into apps business, Circle CEO Jeremy Allaire said in an exclusive CNBC video. So this is the guy, Q1 results, ARK, native token of its blockchain. So I don't get, is it?
So look right there, it's a native token of its new blockchain as the company looks to expand beyond its core business of issuing the USDC stablecoin. So they're incorporated into the USDC. What else is there? I'm trying to figure out. Oh, important as mobile operating systems or cloud platforms.
Interesting. I mean, so if they're getting into it, you know, clearly, like they said, a lot of heavy hitters backing this thing. But I just don't know. Like, it's the blockchain system. It said basically it's gonna be.
So maybe it's the architecture. I don't know, man.
Weird, right?
That data centers they would have to have, and then the infrastructure for this blockchain. Huh.
I wonder.
I don't know. Keep an eye on it because those are some big companies that are investing in that. So I've got to do more deep digging, but it was very interesting.
This is what I would try to, you know, if I can afford a stock or two, I will try to get one. But I feel like this is going to be one of those things that sells out like really quick. SpaceX has not set an official IPO date, but the company SpaceX plans to launch its IPO roadshow on June 8th, 26, with shares expected to begin trading between June 18th and June 30th of 2026. Company confidentially filed for the offering on April 1st and intends to release its public S-1 prospectus between May 15th and 22nd of this year. Any thoughts on this one, bro?
That's a great investment, I would think.
If you can get it, right?
Yeah, if you can get it. I mean, yeah.
Probably gonna sell out pretty damn quick is my guess. Probably like you know, like one of those, you know, I don't know if you were in the mix to try to get any of the Trump no. What the hell were they called? The pictures that are a token?
EFTs, ETFs or whatever.
NFTs. Well, by the way, too, I got them on my, what do you call it? I got these on my sticker mule. These are actually NFTs. So that's a Trump Series 1 NFT. I bought 3 of them. They end up costing, dude, here's the weird part, right? I bought 3 of them. They were $99 each. So that's the first one I got. Here's the second one I got. And then here's the second series one that I got. Series 2. I actually like that one. And then so they all have different things to them, like a disco background, like only maybe 3% of them will have, and maybe 10% he'll be wearing a hat, and then, you know, 5% he has one hand up. And so they do all these things, different things to show you like the rarity of them. And I'm an idiot because when they first came out, like I said, I bought them for like $99 each. So $200 for the first 2. I had offers to sell this one and this one for like $1,100 and like $1,300 on these, like probably 2 months after they came out because they were skyrocketing. I'm like, nah, I'll hold on to them. Now I can't even tell you what they're worth, if they have any value on them whatsoever, because OpenSea or Odyssey or whatever the place they sold it from, they used to tell you like, oh, this is basically what it's worth or whatever. So I do have these for sale on my, I think it's Sticker Mule or whatever it is there. It's connected to my channel. So if anybody wants any NFTs, it's in the shop below. It is Sticker Mule. Okay, that's what it is.
They're only as valuable as a person's going to pay for them.
That's it. And apparently nobody's. I think I've sold like maybe 5 stickers in my career there. But I don't like Sticker Mule's business model. So if I want to make a sticker, right, of what I just showed you, I have to actually go to their website and do this. I'll do this again. I have to go here, go on their website, and then I have to pay to make what they call the examples of them or whatever. Whatever they're called, like the proof. Yeah, that's what they're called, proof. So, all right, yeah, I want to make these stickers in a die-cast sticker. Okay, well, before you do, you have to upload the picture, and then you have to buy them yourself, the proofs, which are like $2 each or something like that, and then they allow you to put them up on the store. I just don't like that model like that. It's pretty stupid. But any event, great show so far. I'm glad you guys all hung out with us for these past 3 hours here. It's always a blast. I'm having a blast on all the shows lately, dude. I'm just loving it, and I feel like we're having a lot of great progress as we're going here. So I'm going to thank a few folks over here on the Foxhole. Put up a little Brie eye candy there for you as we go here. Moonbaby 0437 in Pilled over here. All these are from Pilled. Drop the Cookie says, "Hey, Famalam, I appreciate the show." And we appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for that. And Too Manyism, Drop the Cookie, says, "Much love, Lisa Mack and Space Shot." Thank you. Thank you, Too Manyism. Sean Joe, Space Squad member, came in with the cookie. Appreciate that, brother. And then One Thunder with the can. No message on the last two, but I do appreciate you guys. And then Sean Joe with 2 cookies in a row. Sean Joe Space Squad, Sean Joe Space Squad, cookie. No message, but thank you. No thanks, Joe. Always has the very uplifting, positive messages with the cookie. Says, "Good Monday evening to you, brother Space Shot. I hope that you are well, and I do appreciate your cosmic being." Thanks, and I look forward to some really good exposure. God bless, and be safe to you and the sun. Good luck with the move. Oh, boy. I'll tell you what, dude. I've gotten my steps in the last 3 days for the rest of the year. I've not done so much walking in my life, but it's so good. The last two here, though, last but not least, Sean Joe with the Space Squad member with the cookie. No message on there, but thank you. And then the last one, last but not least, One Thunder gifted the cookie. There's no message on that one, but I do appreciate you, and I am releasing those scratch-ins as we speak. So, yeah, Mac, it's all the moving is, I think we're put it this way, the difficult part is beyond me now. In that, we did essentially 15 years of spring cleaning in about 5 days. And then they moved us essentially, we did it during the live stream the other day. It was like 45 strides for me to go from my front door to where I am now. And it's a brand new place. It's fully furnished and stuff. But the hard work is done, and then later on when we go back in, I'll have all new hardwoods. The place will be painted, new refrigerator, new
Nice.
this, new that. Everything will be new, and then I'll have a blank palette to make a nice little bachelor's pad. And it's not going to be all floweries and stuff. We're going with the sports theme, and he likes Aaron Rodgers, so we're going to get some Aaron Rodgers stuff for the walls and whatnot. But yeah, we're moving right along. And
your podcasting room, your setup.
Yes, and I'm actually going to see if the place would actually let me move back here when we're done, because this place is not actually finished. They didn't remove the carpets and the tiles and put in the hardwood yet, but they're going to do it. But I like this location, even though it's just across the street where I have my place. There's no trees around you, so the sun comes up and it starts hitting you first thing in the morning. High noon, it's right over the house, and then all the way to the evening, it's just basting. So that office area that I would make for a podcasting room would be a part of my bedroom essentially, but it's upstairs, which gets really toasty in the summer. So I'd have to kind of mix making sure the AC would work up there versus keeping the office downstairs. Which
Does it have a window?
It does, but it gets so basting up there. It's like just
no,
so hot.
You get a AC window unit if you wanted.
Yeah, I mean, I got one of those rolling ones in there now for that room. It's got a LG like rolling one that has the vent that goes outside the door, outside the window, obviously. But we'll see if that works. But yeah, either way, the show will go on. I don't care if I got a sweat, but we'll be doing good. And the plan is basically give my son more area. So if I'm having my office essentially in my bedroom on one side there, then he's not relegated to essentially his room whenever I'm doing a show, which he's up there now, So kind of got to be a little quieter during showtime, so I'm not hearing background noise, and that will alleviate that. So we're doing good. It's making lots of progress, and so is our government. It seems a lot of craziness. But dude, every time I look around, I don't ever get the impression from President Trump like, oh my God, there's so much on his shoulders right now. He's so stressed out. How is he dealing with Iran and with Venezuela and all this stuff and this, that, and the other? Like, wow, he doesn't look stressed in the least. And not only that, but he's cracking jokes left and right.
It seems like he's in a groove right now,
Right?
Yeah, I think he's. Yeah, it's reading him. Just from what you're saying, it sounds like he's in a groove. Great things are happening, and it sounds like we're over the hill, as you say, and on the downslope.
Yeah, and we got the drum roll from Dan today, so it's like, what's that? Drum roll, please.
Yeah, I think it had to do with that Clinton Foundation, possibly those documents, but we'll find out if there's anything tomorrow.
Oh, can't wait. There's always tomorrow, and there's always the next day, so we'll see. Great show as usual, brother. Always thanking the mods out there. You guys rock. I do appreciate your help greatly. I did release, made sure I released the scratchings over there. Those are all set. And yeah, I will be back with the guys tomorrow. He was a new addition. I don't even know if he's coming on as a regular guest, but I think his name was Jeff. And I could be wrong because I got so much info in and out. But Ghost, Mike, and Armando. I believe the other gentleman was Jeff, and I know his wife watches us from time to time as well. So I apologize if I got the name wrong, but he had lots of good information with us and was a good addition to the show. But in any event, I will be back tomorrow evening at the very least with Ghost, Mike, and Armando at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Mac, once again, brother, always a great show. I do appreciate it. And again, yes, sir. We do appreciate each and every one of you wonderful world patriots for tuning in out there. And until that next one, thumbs up, like, and subscribe. Peace.
Hello, guys. Something special is happening in here. That's right, it's brackets and jackets, bringing it back for brackets and jackets, special Epstein Island edition. That's right, folks, Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein, the man with the island, which is suspiciously close to Haiti. That's right, you see this man, Jeffrey Epstein, is funding lots of people. He's funding lots of people on the street to make sure his shit doesn't get out. That's right, they want the record sealed. And they're paying a lot of people. Epstein's paying a lot of people. Oh boy. For one, he's got a whole Mossad media matrix in America. And I would bet you anything that Alex Jones is one of them. Prove me wrong. That's right, Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the portal. Cappy's in the building with songs about Epstein. It's Breakfast Jacket's Epstein edition. Guys, I had some epiphanies today. I had some real big epiphanies about some guys. A big network of guys and spies and lies and liars. All right, think about this for a minute, okay? The guy in Portland, the scientist that just got busted for producing CP, that guy is 1 degree of separation away from Epstein. Epstein, the investor that lives in West Palm Beach, Florida. I know a guy who lives in West Palm Beach, Florida as well. Investor as well. Also involved as well. And all is not well with these guys. the Florida boys, the Glow boys, the Scott Israels of the world. You see, Epstein is Hillary Clinton, and Epstein is Haiti, and Epstein is a big network of media assets. By the way, did you know that Steve Bannon was going to that guy for money? Also, Epstein is Oprah. Epstein is Chris Tucker. You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. And red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.
There we go. One more for you guys.